City and Orbital. Thanks for having us. This one goes out to all the commanders out there. It's called Victory. I hope y'all like it. 1, 2, 3, let's kick it.
And good evening, everyone. I will start off with saying I am so sorry to everyone who who was here on time when I wasn't. I apologize for putting in the time wrong. I don't know what my ancient, old, tired brain got wrong and how I put 1800 and not 2000 hours. But apologies, as most dumb Americans, even with as much time experience as I have doing it, apparently I'm not so great. And I see 1800, and that means 8 o'clock. So forgive me, folks. For those of you that hung in or came in and checked back and forth over the time, I really appreciate it. I meant for this to be at the normal time, which I know is also a little different for the folks in UTC since we've changed time zones and you guys haven't. That really screwed us up today during Sidewinder Slaughter. But let's start with typical getting a quick voice check. If you guys can confirm that I'm good to go, maybe Cement or Wolf Dragon, if you guys can shout out, and we'll do a volume check. Great. I just wanted them to hear you. Oh, hold on. I don't have your mic slide. There we go. Let's try that one more time. Say something again, Wolf Dragon. Okay. Oh, still don't have you transmitting. There you go. Let's try one last time. Go ahead, Wolf. One more time. Just say something. There we
like
go.
a seal.
Now you're transmitting. That's what I was looking for, to make sure that Discord was transmitting too. So, yeah, guys, I know every now and then somebody's let me know that my mic tends to be a little quieter than people on Discord. So if that's the case, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll get started. I think tonight's going to be a little bit of a shorter one. Of course, I say that a lot, and then they wind up being 2 hours anyway. But tonight we're going to talk about a new series that I had hoped to have the video out on before the stream today, but didn't have a chance. It will be out. I'm not going to promise it'll be out later tonight, but probably, or first thing in the morning, on gathering materials in Colonia. So I'm going to start working on a series of, and as always, thank you very much, Samantha. I love that you've now pulled the mango and are pooping on me like Mango does. For those that don't know what that means, especially on Twitch, he donated a pound, I guess it is, and put the little poop emoji. So I joke that another friend of mine has Mango always poops on me in streams. So tonight we're going to be talking about gathering materials in Colonia. So it's going to be part of a series that I'm working on for kind of life in Colonia, what it's like to live out here, what the challenges are compared to the bubble. One of which is certainly engineering and material gathering around engineering. So we're going to focus on the three main methods: how to get raw, manufactured, and data. They're pretty similar to the bubble, with some exceptions given what's available to us out here. So we're going to talk through some of that. And as part of the series, we'll work through earning credits out here, what ships and outfitting are like out here. And the good news is, good evening, AJI, is it's a lot better out here now. It really is somewhere you could live full time, enjoy the game, almost in the same way that you can back in the bubble. There's combat. I think the only main thing that you miss out here, and there's probably something I'm forgetting, but the main thing would be Thargoids, right? All the Thargoid combat is back in the bubble. With the goal of that is that coming out here, out to Colonia, is the idea is you're escaping from that, right? It's in a way, a safe haven from that. Certainly when the war started, that was part of the idea. With another region of space that I might start to cover, but it's a lot smaller, the Witchhead Nebula is kind of the opposite. There's a lot of Thargoid activity going on out there. There's several stations that are damaged or repairing right now. I'm hoping at the tick over tomorrow we get some damaged stations, as I really want to do a tutorial on doing rescue missions at the damaged stations, because that's probably the fastest way actually to earn rank for the cutter and vet, per the video I did recently. I did it, the video that I did, I used that recently simply because it's the most reliable method, right? Damaged megaships are great. Damaged stations are great, but they aren't always in existence. So I wanted to make sure we had something that covered everything. So again, tonight we're going to look at the three main methods. I'm out in Colonia now, as you can tell. For those that don't know what Colonia is, let's start with that. Let me get back into my ship. Colonia is a region of space that's roughly 22,000 light years from Sol. So if I plot back to Sol real quick, this region was developed primarily, we're almost exactly, 22,000 and 22,000.47 light years. I didn't realize it was that perfect. That back in, I think the lore is in 3302, so like, was that 4 years ago now? This station that's in front of me, Jacques Station. Good evening, awesome RB. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to pay attention to chat. Some of the moderators. Oh, Iron is here. Great, great. So Iron will help me, I hope, if he's being nice tonight, as he always is, paying attention to chat if I miss any questions. And good evening, Iron. Thanks for joining. Maybe Iron wants to be quiet tonight. Iron.
Good evening.
There you are. There you are. So Colonia was, so the station, Jacques Station, back in 3302, I think it was like April, something like that, at 3302, put out a community goal to request fuel and fuel materials so that it could make a jump all the way to Beagle Point. Okay, for those that don't know Beagle Point not exactly anymore because of jump range increases, but it is essentially or known as, whoops, not points, the farthest point away from Sol at roughly 65,000 light years from Sol. So as you see, it's 46,000 from where I'm. You now can get a little further than this, but as you see, it is way out there. And so he was going to try to make a single jump to Colonia. Well, as the story goes, and I don't know how much of this is lore or actually happened, players UA bombed, and those were unknown artifacts, which we now know as Thargoid sensors. It used to be that if you delivered those and sold those at a station in bulk quantities, you would knock a station offline. It would be all screwed up. It would kind of like the damage stations when they're actually damaged and the starport surface is all fucked up and nothing works. It was kind of like that. And so that happened right before the jump. And so the jump malfunctioned, and instead it landed here. It then took, I think it was only a couple months, if I'm remembering right, for a commander, and it was Commander Sly, C-L-Y, I think, that found it. And then it was just Jacques Station. There was a community goal to bring materials out to it. In fact, that was the first week I started playing. And I remember trying to figure out what community goals were, and I kept seeing this thing that I've got to jump 22,000 light years. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm not, who does this? This is nuts. Not understanding that this was just kind of a one-off strange community goal. So it slowly kind of built up over time, and then I believe it was a little before, and certainly around the start of the Thargoid War, which I guess was December of 3304, if I have my dates wrong, or right, it was a couple of years ago, Frontier really started to build this region up. The players started to refer to it as Colonia, and as such, they capitalized on that, went with that, and where everything used to have, crazy EOL, Peru, whatever how you pronounce it, crazy system names, they finally gave the systems out here, some real names, right? So we have Colonia, we have Ratrai, we have Sovereignty, we have all these different systems, but you see, like, we have some of them still, if I go up just a little bit, let's grab this one, that are this crazy name here, like this generated name. But we now have, again, some real Hypothesis, I think that's how I'm saying it. Right, anyways, there's a lot of reality out here. There's material traders out here of each type. There's engineers out here. You can't quite engineer every blueprint out here, but there's quite a lot, right? And yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, Patrick. I don't know how quickly Frontier expected us to find it. I know there was, in the lore that I was reading, there were supposedly some signals that were sent out. Again, I don't know if that was just kind of written, like a little bit of retconning to give it a story, or if that's literally what happened. I kind of always understood it that a commander just stumbled across it because I don't think we literally knew where it was, but I had just started playing at that point. So, forgive me getting something to drink. My voice, I was sick the other night. Apparently I've got coronavirus. I'm kidding. I don't want to get demonetized just for saying that. And so I'm sorry, grabbing something to drink so my throat doesn't get too dry tonight. But anyway, now that it's a viable place to live, you can buy a lot of the ships out here. There's a lot of outfitting out here. There's no Jameson type station where you can buy everything, but a couple of the stations in Colonia, the main system, the region's called Colonia, and there's a system called Colonia. Here we have a couple different stations. Jacques Station, the famous one that made us jump out here. Dove Enigma is a mega ship that was named after Commander Dove Enigma, who, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at this point has passed. There was a big, like, kind of like we did for Jerry, there was a big community drive around, I believe he died of cancer. And when that was happening, he was very into the game. And so as a memorial to him, they created Dove Enigma. It's got a pretty good bit of outfitting. As I mentioned, there are let me get to my bookmarks. There are the three material traders of each type. And then there's just some incredible beauty out here. So as I pan around, one of the things you get addicted to when you're out here is how incredibly dense the star field is. This is especially beautiful in virtual reality, where everywhere you look, there's stars. And while we're not even super deep into the star field here, as we get closer and closer to the core, that density gets, even deeper and deeper. If you're new to this, Iron, if you could maybe be so kind as to grab a link to the neutron star, the neutron router video, using the neutron superhighway, that's using neutron boosted jumps to get here. And a neutron boosted jump gives you 4x your jump range. So if you use something like a Phantom, an Asp Explorer, and call it the 60 to 65-ish jump range, light year jump range, or even an Anaconda way up at 80 or so, you can make it out here in about 2 hours, under 2 hours. That's jump, 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 jump as quick as you can. I believe the record is right around an hour and a half, something like that. And so it's really not that far out of reach. In fact, I did a video recently covering, thank you, Iron, covering the 4 engineers here and the most efficient way to get out here to unlock those engineers, right? Thank you very much, Mars Miter. That's you, isn't it, Iron? I just realized that is, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Thank you, thank you. For a minute, I was thinking when I saw that, I was like, "Is that like Mars Europe is Ghost Giraffe?" And for a moment, I was like, "No, that can't be Ghost Giraffe, right?" And so in that video, using a roughly, I think it was just shy of 80 light year jump range Anaconda with neutrons, if I remember right, it was 92 jumps, right? So it's not the end of the world to get here, right? And RB says, if I understand, I would go there to No, the reason you would come out here for engineering is it kind of yes and no. There's 4 additional engineers out here, so you're able to do additional blueprints, and more specifically for those of us that live in the bubble, it's 4 more pins. There are 2 blueprints that are only available out here. That's grade 5 lightweight life support and grade 4 shield cell banks, either rapid or specialized. And so for combat guys, for PvPers specifically, we want the grade 4 rapid because while that only shaves a half a second off grade 3, that half a second when you're worried about somebody canceling your cell banks can mean a lot. So given that, I want to say it took me to gather everything I needed, fly out here, unlock everybody, roll the blueprints I needed to max out the engineers, and pin blueprints took me just over 4 hours. And in elite time, that's nothing, right? It's just a drop in the bucket. And that was just, again, I just deadheaded here as quickly as I could, scanned along the way, just honking, made a little bit of credits that way. I think and if you honk all the way out here, I want to say I arrived with like 8 or 9 million in credits, which was enough to ally with one of the factions, which is what you need to do to get unlock one of the engineers, right? So the point is, it's not an impossible distance like it might seem. Certainly, if you're new and you're in the 30-hour, the 30 light year jump range kind of thing still, it's going to be a trek to get out here. You would probably not want to go in anything less than an Asp Explorer. I have to call it the 35 light year jump range. And really, what you would want to do is engineer your frame shift drive and get the Guardian booster. In fact, Iron, if I can make another request, I have a video it's the quick start guide to exploration. It's something like that, Iron. And specifically, that guide is designed for a commander who would want to set up an alt account, like I'm in my alt account right now, and wants to quick play to get a ship that has, let me get back to it. I think I've got some different outfitting on here right now, but so a 50 light year jump range. If I strip this back down for exploration, I'm right around 62, 64, something like that. I've got engineered grade 3 thrusters because you're going to get Felicity unlocked. I've got the Dweller unlocked, and I unlocked the Guardian FSD booster, which I might not be running that right now. Let me see. I probably don't. Yep, I don't because of what we're going to do tonight. And so anyway, it gave me a ship to get out here with and enough credits. I think I've got like 35 million credits, enough for this out here so that I could get here and have an alt account that would just live out here. If I want to go do some fun exploration, thank you very much, Iron. Fun exploration and stuff. We're going to see, and I'm going to show you a couple of the beautiful things there are to see out here before we head out, right? Let's see. He's in the black with records of 3 black holes and 14 neutron stars to turn in. Nice. You mean new discoveries you found, Dark Side. You found 3 first discovery on black holes. That's great, right? There's all kinds of beautiful stuff in this region. And on the way out here is one of my favorite systems in the entire game called Collection of Wonders. And it's fitting. It's got, let me see if I can get the system. No, I can't get the system data. It's got a couple black holes. It's got 3 or 4 ringed stars, including 2 ringed neutrons, one of which the rings of the neutron extend out 100 light seconds. So think about how unbelievably massive that is. All right. And so that's, it's an incredible system. Somebody asked, how do I set up an alt? Well, you would buy a second copy of the game. And then you literally I've got a video that covers this. There's a way you can set up the launcher so that you can have multiple launchers where you literally just execute one launcher, log into that version of the game, execute another launcher, log into the other version of the game. Now, if you do this, do not buy the second account through Steam. If you buy an account through Steam now, you are locked to using that account with Steam. You cannot use the regular launcher. So for those of us that have been playing for a long time, you want to buy the account directly through Frontier and not through Steam. You can do it through Steam, but it's a lot more of a pain in the butt. For example, you guys would bring them in. I don't mind you guys saying my name. I'm sure it's pretty easy to find who I am anyway. If you bring this up, you would go to options and log out, and then that would let you log in with your other account. Okay. And Iron, is that the video you just posted up?
Yeah, it's the video.
Yeah, the one that the account switching video, right?
Correct.
Crappy mic check.
It is crappy, and we do have you. So if you were going to make a trip out here, stopping along at some of the really pretty spots along the way, and my video covers a couple of those, I think it does anyway, is depending on what kind of hurry you're in, is a great idea, right? It's also, if you're going to head to Sagittarius A, which is roughly right in there. Actually, let's go right to it. Sagittarius. I'm sure that's wrong, but it got it for me, didn't it? And there, nope, it didn't get it, but it got close. Oh my God, how do you spell Sagittarius? Sagittarius A star? No, that's not it. Somebody's laughing at me right now. Somebody type it out for me. Does anybody? Somebody put it in comments so I can type it in. But anyway, Sagittarius A is right in that region, and it really is a treat to go see. As I mentioned, the star field being so dense here, it is incredibly dense there. So with that, let's talk about what we're mainly here to talk about, which is gathering materials. There's 3 primary ways, or 3 primary things. We're going to do raw, manufactured, and encoded. I would normally do this in basically 3 separate ships. You could do it all in one. I've got it set up for 3. Really, actually 2, I think. You're going to want one ship to do high grades. And for high grades, thank you very much, Cement. For high grades, you're going to want the key module, which are 2 limpet controllers. So that you can, and we're not going to actually go farm some. We're just going to show how it works. You would want an SRV to land on planets for raw minerals. And then finally, you're going to want something with a recon limpet controller and then a cargo rack for it, and that can do silent running for hacking the data beacons or the hackable comm arrays at megaships. And for that, the DBS is a great choice given how cold running it is, right? And if somebody's asking, Patrick, what are you asking about? He's asking, what is that, a system? So Sagittarius A star is the black hole at the center of our galaxy. Shinrarta Desra is the elite system that contains Jameson Memorial. Jameson Memorial is the station where once you've unlocked elite in any rank, you get access to that station, which sells every single module, every single ship in the entire game, right? So it's a really nice, it's also by far the most dangerous system in the game. So if you're going to go in Shinrarta and you're going to go in open, be aware that you earned your elite rank. You should be able to handle that kind of thing because it is a very, very dangerous system. So the video I have that is Surviving Open, a beginner's guide, will cover tips and tricks on how to survive open. I fly a DBX in and out of Shinra all the time. It's never been killed. It's been attacked many times. It's never once died. So it's dangerous, but you can absolutely do it, right? Oh yeah, it's not Sagittarius. It was another conversation. Gotcha. Let me know, Patrick, if I did not answer your question in that. So let's do this. We're going to start in the DBS because we're not really going to pick up stuff from the high grade. I'm just going to show you how it works. We can talk that through and kind of fake it. But we'll just to save us some time and skipping ships. We'll just start in the scouts. I probably will go ahead and add an SRV to it. Yep, Jesse Bob, that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll cover the different tutorials I have on this. Aposto, my steering wheel base died again.
Oh no!
Which is actually not bad because now I can send this back to Amazon and get the Fanatic that I've been drooling over.
It's time to upgrade, baby.
Yep. So I'm going to use it as an excuse to upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, so. For those that don't know, a quick aside, we do have a racing league and a small racing group at Level 11, our Discord, that we just start. Oh, damn it. I might not be able to get a time in for this first week.
Why?
Because I don't have a wheel. What do you think? We just started a new season. We do generally either 6 or 10 week seasons where we do Formula One circuits and GT3 cars. For those that have been around for a while, I'm an old school racer. It's where my name comes from. I used to race a Lotus Exige for about a decade. And in IRL, I've done it in game for that long too. But So we have a racing league going. If you guys are into sim racing, stop by and join us. Okay, let's grab, don't need this collector Olympic controller for what we're doing, so let's grab don't tell me they don't have, there we go, planetary vehicle hangers, there we go. Somebody recently, Apostle, can't remember who it was in Discord, and they bought an SRV hangar, flew all the way out to the Guardian Ruins, but didn't understand that they had to buy an SRV to go in it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, dude. Isn't that brutal?
How far was it?
1,000 light years.
And
it's
not
that
far of a trip, but it's far enough to be, that would be not cool.
That's a fun story to share.
Yeah. So let's not do what X always does and fucking forget limpets, which I didn't. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll start with data. And so for data, we're going to be looking for any megaship. And there's several in the area. And in fact, there's one in Colonia. So we're going to head to the one here in Colonia. So we need to go to our navigation panel and we need to turn on points of interest, which I do. I don't think points of interest actually show until you're outside the station. Yeah, they don't. So let's get outside. There are 2 in the system. One of them has 3 hackable comms arrays. One of them only has 1. Although the one that has 3, that's the one we're going to go to. One of them is always bugged out. I can't get a limpet to stick to it. So we're going to go to, the Freedom class survey vessel. The other one is the Lowell class science vessel. Kind of funny to me that the survey vessel would have more data beacons than the science vessel. I guess that makes a little sense. Dark, you're right. There are some griefers that play in open, but the notion that open is so dangerous you can't play, in my opinion, is bullshit. Sure, right? There are certain systems that are dangerous, right? Shinrarta is one of those systems. I mean, it's got, you have to be elite to go there. There's obviously a lot of elite combat pilots there. And if you don't take proper precautions, you can get attacked and blown up. The reality, though, is other than that system, and even there you can be pretty safe, the odds on even seeing another commander are extremely low, right? So, if you're doing something like mining, you've got a ton of exploration data. Okay, if you choose to not take the extra risk and go in solo or private, I'm not going to blame you for that. But the notion that you can't play in open or all you're going to get is griefed or attacked, I'm sorry, in my opinion, being blunt, is bullshit.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. You've got to wean yourself out of solo and not get too upset. Think of it this way. if you know, like there was one scenario that someone had brought up saying, "Oh, I got a ton of data. I want to sell it after exploring, and then these guys just want to blow me up for no reason. It's not fair." Okay, even if you feel that way, you can still be smart and go and sell your data at a system that is not going to be populated. People with that are waiting. Avoid the engineering systems. Avoid Shinrarta, and then you're good to go. And like X was saying, most of the time you're not even going to be able to see other people. Like I think I played this game and didn't understand. I thought solo was like a single player campaign mode. I went into open and I'm like, where are all the
where
players?
is everybody? Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember early on Googling and searching, like, where are people? Like, I want to see other commanders. Where do they? And
Sure.
I wanted to go to Seoul and didn't understand that you need a permit for Seoul. And really, Seoul's not even that popular, right? Another
You
thing
can
that
also come to level 11 and ask for an escort
That's-
to come in to
that's-
sell the data to one of
sure.
Squadron 11's
Sure.
systems as well.
And
you
in
know.
fact, there's a player group
plenty of
called
reasons,
there's a player group called Iridium Wing that is specifically for escorting explorers. So if you're an explorer coming into the Colonia region, if you're an explorer returning back into the bubble from deep space and want to sell your exploration, they will wing up with you with a wing of highly engineered combat ships with the primary goal of no matter what happens, you will survive. And last time I talked to him, which hasn't been too terribly long ago, they have never lost a commander. Right, so they've never had somebody, die that's been under their protection. So anyway, enough of a little rant about solo. I guess the final thing I would say there is all games have risk. You're not always going to win every encounter. Sometimes you're going to get blown up, right? But if you play smart and you prepare for it and you know how to handle a situation and you're properly outfit, you absolutely can survive open, no problem. So, okay. Back to this. We notice that as we jumped in here, there is a scenario going on. So there's combat going on, and we're getting attacked. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to leave, because we're not here to do that. We're here to hack. So let's get out of here. You'll notice in this build, let's go silent and pop a heat sink. I outfit with a good bit of hull. Let's see how much hull I actually have. For almost 500 hull, right? Because I knew that might happen. And the builds in the video that will come out for this will detail that. This outfitting, I mean. So let's get out of here. One thing to point out, you notice how long it's taking me to charge to jump right now. Well, the reason for that is I'm getting mass locked by this Cobra 3 that's following me. If I was really in danger right now, if I high weight or jumped to a remote system, I would jump in the normal 10 seconds, right? So if I was really worried about it, I would be jumping out, to a remote system. You can, Patrick, join Iridium Wing. They're absolutely, last I talked to them, they've been a little not as busy as they were in the past. Great, I'm getting hit with missiles, which that might screw things up because missiles suck. That's why we're going to stay silent so they can't get a lock on me. But yeah, reach out to them. If you just Google them, you'll find their Discord. And sure, right? They're looking for good commanders, not necessarily the best of the best. They're not like a high-end, combat or PvP group. They're skilled enough though, with well-built enough ships that if you use them as a service, it's very unlikely you're going to die. But again, because the odds on you even seeing another commander are incredibly rare. Other than the systems we've talked about, Shinrarta, engineering systems, maybe Diaguandri, LHS-20, maybe some of the more populated systems. Certainly when mining is booming and there's a certain station that's, paying dramatically more than the other stations, yeah, that's potentially going to be a dangerous area. Of course, I want you to go there and open because I love to PvP pirate, because I want to steal 2 tons of cargo from you just so I can role play. But yeah, I do wish, last I'll say on this is I do wish that there was some sort of bonus and incentive for playing in open. I wish that if you, let's say you started mining, you were in open the entire time from when you lifted off, mined everything, and went and sold it, you got a 20% bonus for taking that additional risk. I really wish the game worked that way. Specifically with background simulation, the work that squadrons do to control systems and power play, in my opinion, that absolutely should be an open. Because to Aposto's point a second ago, and I see he's going to chime in, Elite is not a single player game. It is a multiplayer game you can choose to play alone, and those parts of the game are the multiplayer aspect. Go ahead, Aposto. I might have stolen your thunder.
You know, you're talking on something like with multiplayer and PvP, and then reasons to do it, and also gameplay. Like, there are no end bosses. There are no like dungeon running. There's no scenarios where, like, you know, the power play guy, let's say, is in their mega ship or something, and you have to attack them and kill all of their waves of enemies to get to them. So what happens is, you know, players come together and fill that role in the game. You know, there's going to be griefers. There's going to be people that are super powered, overpowered. And what's fun is going and getting enough and getting your buddies together and, you know, fighting them and winning. Yeah, you're going to lose a lot. Okay, but losing is
Part of a game.
part of learning too. So you learn from that. Man, you can cheer and yell. I've gone around fighting, and when I'm with my buddies and I'm with my wing and we're all having a good time, that is awesome, regardless of dying or not. So definitely try it out.
And you know, the last, I keep saying the last thing. Another thing I would say about it, the most important thing in my opinion is if you do get griefed by somebody is how you respond to it. The biggest thing, most of the guys that are doing that are just going to attack you in a trade ship or an explorer ship and just blow you up without a word, are just trying to be bullies, and they're just trying to get a rise out of you and get salt. The two best ways you can respond is not at all, and hey, they quick traveled me to the station, or you respond with, hey, how did you do that? What weapons were you using? How did you take out my shield so quickly? Right? And I know that anytime I'm friends with some guys that do this from time to time, and whenever they get that kind of response, they'll sit down and talk with you and teach you the game and explain it to you, right? So really just trying not to let yourself get emotional about it. And look, nobody likes getting blown up, especially by, bluntly, some asshole who's just fucking around and killing you for no good reason. But try to remember, it is a video game. It's not like it used to be years ago where credits are super impossible to get, right? So,
And most people are just role playing on the other end.
Sometimes.
They may be going out for people for docking computers for.
Yep,
But,
pirating.
You
And
know,
yeah,
they're pirating for role playing, and
Yep.
and they will interact with you. You know.
Yep.
So.
and so let's see. There's been a few other questions that have come up. Let me go through a few that I saw. Michael was asking about, something I can't see anymore. I think it scrolled off, about how many hours, how many hours does it take to where you know the game? And I kind of joking, it was like at 500 hours, you're kind of getting started. 1,000 hours, you're pretty good. You're starting to get everything a handle. At 2,000 hours, you should have probably all the engineers. You've got a couple, if not several, fully engineered ships. And 5,000 hours, you've pretty much got, you've basically done everything, in a way, everything there is to do. There was another question about, I'll let Aposto chime in on this one as well. There was another question about best PvP ships, best OP ship for PvP. Easily the meta ship for PvP is the FDL. I begrudgingly have started flying one, and I gotta admit, there's a reason it's so popular. Other good ships, and it's probably the best starter ship, would be a prismatic FDL with 5 boosters, a chaff launcher, and all hull, with PAs and rails. Then the Mamba is a good PvP ship. The Chieftain is a really good PvP ship. The Vulture, if you want to really have some, challenge and use a small class ship. I would highly suggest against the large class ships if you're getting started. Stay away from the vet, stay away from the cutter. You're not going to learn as fast. They're much harder to fly at that level. You're going to get creamed by a medium class ship, by an FDL, a Mamba, Chieftain, those kind of ships, and the rebuy. And what you need to do early on in PvP is die a lot. You need to get a lot of experience, right, in as many fights as you can get. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I was going to show you my codex and the number of rebuys that I've been through. Whoops, damn it, I keep clicking the wrong thing. And granted, some of these are from Sidewinder Slaughter and other stuff like that, but where is it? Is it under balance? Oh, shoot, I'm in my alt account. It's like 6 insurance claims. That's not right. I'm almost at 3 billion in rebuys. So getting that experience of just getting in there and fighting as much as you can. We actually have I have a beginner's guide to PvP video. We have a really great article, maybe somebody can find it, on EDTutorials, specifically about getting started with PvP from one of the best PvP groups in the game right now, NATO. Aposto, before I get started here with this, what would you chime in for that?
I'd like to echo the Vulture a little bit more. If you're just you have no money, you want to try PvP, you've unlocked at least like to grade 3, you should really consider, and this is what wasn't said, how important engineering is. If you're unengineered, you're just, and I mean engineered, you need to be engineered to grade 5. If you have a Vulture though, yeah, you can have a lot of fun PvPing. Just go to Sand 2 is the system. Look on YouTube. Find people that are Twitch, that are streaming, that are doing PvP, and their YouTube channels maybe have their fights that they're posting. You learn a lot by watching others, getting examples of what to do. And that's like a really fun way of doing it. And then there's the Discord servers like PvP Hub. You can, pick up matches and talk to other commanders that are trying to fight.
There's also, to be clear, there's a big, massive difference between flying around Shinrarta, having somebody attack you and fighting back against them, and sanctioned, scheduled, like consensual PvP that you will find at a place like, sometimes in Shinrarta 2, but at Sand 2, right? Where there's etiquette involved. People aren't going to be using bullshit builds like specifically Seekers or Pack Hounds and things like that. There's and people are going to kind of follow those rules. And you're not using fighters, because ship launch fighters will destroy an instance in terms of lag. So there's certain things like that you are going to run into at a place like Shinrarta or just in open space, that if you go somewhere like PvP Hub and Sand 2 and say, hey, I'd like to fight, who would like to fight in a wing fight, a one-on-one? And the really nice thing is when you get into wing fights there, the guys are super great about, let's say you're the brand new guy. This is your first night. It's your second night. You're really new to it. Normally, you might get focused early on in the fight to just get rid of you. Well, they'll specifically focus you last, right? To let you see the entire fight, get to experience the entire fight. So they essentially take it easy on you so that you can get that experience, right? So, and if you're another, thing, it's a little different and silly, but it's also a great way to get started, is what we did this afternoon. We do every Mondays at 8 Eastern and Wednesdays at 8 UTC is Sidewinder Slaughter. That we all start in bone stock right off the showroom for Sidewinders. You go blast at each other outside of an anarchy station. Every time you die, you get to upgrade or add one module. So there's a strategy component of what modules do you do first and when. And it's just, if anybody in here has done Sidewinder Slaughter with us, they can attest it is huge fun. It's one of my favorite things that we do, to be honest. So,
honestly, I think the Sidewinder Slaughter is probably the most fun I've had for PvP, especially because I haven't really done it much. And like you said, it's consensual. Like we know what we're doing. We're
all
doing
in the same playing field.
And we're all just goofing around and having fun.
Exactly.
Big difference between that and then just, I'm going to go this way and scan this planet, and all of a sudden, nuke.
Right. And again, griefing is not PvP, right? There's this notion that that's what PvP is like, and they really are very, very different, right? So, okay, so No, but God, we should have done a PvP stream tonight, right? Maybe I'll do that
We
next week.
practically have at this point.
I know, right? In fact, on Friday, Crimson Gamer is going to join me, and I've also invited Vindicator Jones to join me, and I'm going to see if either one of them want to do some PvP, specifically Vindicator Jones. I'm hoping he wants to. I would love to challenge him to a couple fights. I don't have any idea how good he is either, so it'd be interesting to pit skills against him. So, okay, so back to the mission at hand. So we are here at the science vessel. You notice we've had no instance, no scenario pop up. So we're pretty good to go here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need some fire groups. So we're going to need our data link scanner, and we're going to need a recon limpet. Now in this build, I happen to have a hatch breaker just in case I found something interesting. That's why I also had collectors, but I scrapped that right now for the SRV bay. But we definitely need the recon limpet, and we definitely need the data link scanner. All ships have the data link scanner, so you don't have to outfit. You just have to bind that. So first thing we do is target the science vessel. When we scan it, you'll see this cool little animation wash over it. Once it's scanned and we look at our contacts, we see all these new things pop in, all these sub-targets, one of which is the hackable data transmitter. We target that. We now have to fly within 350 meters of it. So we'll fly up nice and close. And once we get 350 meters, we're going to scan it. Actually, let me show you first. You notice there's no sub-target. So up here where's my mouse? Why is my mouse showing? Anyway, right where it says target, right, there's no sub-target. If I scan it, you'll see now that target shows up, and there's now a limpet docking port, a recon limpet docking port. We select that. Now the key, we go silent running. If we don't go silent running, when the recon limpet attaches or the hack executes, bam, we're going to get wanted. Now, so we fire our recon limpet. We'll see that attach. And now it's starting the hack. Again, now you notice system authority is getting called. So they know a hack is going on and somebody is hacking it, but they do not know that it's me. So the fact that I'm staying in silent running now, I am safe. I'll watch my heat. I'm at 70%. You'll notice I brought a bunch of heat sinks. Here come the cops. No worries. Hack is complete. I now can turn off silent running. I've gotten all the data. And now it's the really fun Frontier-approved gameplay of the Frontier flop. So we would exit out. In this case, sometimes because the cops got called, it'll put you in danger. So you wait here a couple seconds. Okay, we're not under fire, so this is not combat logging because nobody's
combat logger. You're a combat logger.
Because nobody's actually attacking me, which we do take that very seriously. This would be called menu logging, and if a commander were shooting at me, in our squadron's opinion, that would be a bannable offense from our squadron. But nobody's attacking me. I'm playing by myself. Exiting the main menu.
You're going to go straight to hell for that one.
And these are kind of fun, actually. This used to be, before we kind of discovered the Jameson crash site, this was one of the better ways to get data. Okay, we log back in. We deploy our hard points again. We have to scan the whole megaship again, because if we look under contacts, we don't have all of those sub-contacts anymore. We scan the megaship. Okay. We come down to the hackable comms, trackable data transmitter. I keep calling it hackable comms array. It's the data transmitter. We scan it. The recon docking port shows up. We go silent running. We fire our limpet at it. And you rinse and repeat this until you get a lot of data, in short. And so this would be the next key thing is you would want to use a tool. In fact, if you guys can find the tool article for EDEngineer. So EDEngineer, let me actually open that up real quick. EDEngineer is one of the most important third-party utilities available for the game. In short, let me let this hack finish and then I'll show it to you guys. Because I want you to notice how much data we get up there in the top. So as you see, we got quite a lot of varying data types and grades. So I'll turn silent running off again. Now, with EDEngineer, let me show you this. I would be able to go in and let's say just because it's easy, I wanted to roll, and this is my primary account, not this alt account. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me switch to the alt account. It's going to take too long. It's not up there with all my other alt accounts. So we would check, let's say I want to do this beam laser. Well, I know to max out a grade 5 module, we're going to need 9 grade 5 rolls. We're going to need 4 grade 4s. We're going to need 3 grade 3s, 2 grade 2s, and 1 grade 1. And what this has done is it's built me this shopping list telling me everything I need for this roll. So just to spoof this a bit, let me go over the most I can do. Let me go over 30. I've got a lot of materials right now, as you see. Let me just keep going. Oh, I thought I'd get some data. There we go. Okay. So what we see here is it's telling me I need 40 proto-radiolics that I don't have. And the fact that it's dark yellow versus this lighter one means if it's light colored like this means I can trade for it. I've at least got something. And if I expand that, and I do have a whole separate tutorial on this, it shows me these are the things I could use to trade for that protolite. So you would use this, gathering the data you needed until you know you had enough to trade down for what you actually need. Okay, trading down a grade 5, single grade 5, excuse me, it takes, what is it? Yeah, 100 grade 5s becomes 16 of any other grade 5 data. So for example, one of the common ones would be data mine wake exceptions. And while you can, and you can do this in this region, you can go scan for data mine wakes at a distribution center, so long as, and I have a video that covers this as well, specifically data mine wake exceptions, so long as there's a system in famine state, and there usually is. Let's check another wonderful tool, which is EDDB. We can go to systems. We can say Colonia. We can say faction status in famine. Find systems. And right now there is not anything in famine. Okay, so right now you wouldn't be able to go to a distribution center. You would have to just scan wakes at something like Jacques Station, which is not bad because there's so much traffic there. But still, that you're going to get maybe 3 or 4 an hour, meaning you get 9 or 12 since you get 3 each. But that is not an efficient way to do it compared to this. Okay, so now what we would do is after we've done this for a while or until we want to fucking shoot ourselves, we would then route to the encoded data trader, head there, and you see it's right next door in RatRye, head there and trade for the data that we wanted. Make sense? I'll leave that for a second. Any questions on stream? This is straightforward. The main key is going silent running. So you'll notice I used a shieldless build, and the reason is, and you wouldn't necessarily have to, you could run a buy weave and get your shields back. I mean, you could definitely do that, but running silent's going to drop your shield anyway. So the DBS, as cold as it runs, I like to just go for the extra haul and not worry about having a shield. I can run a lot smaller distributor that way, just a little easier, just a personal preference. So, all right, next up, let's talk about how to do minerals. Okay, so for minerals, we're going to go back to another web tool. We're going to go to Spanch, one of my favorite tools. Talk about this all the time. In fact, I was communicating with Commander Spanch the last couple of days as we found he didn't want to necessarily call it a bug, but a strange routing issue where a buddy was like 1,500 light years from the bubble. I told him to just, do a Road to Riches plot back, right, using the Road to Riches tool, where you can say, here's where I am, here's where I want to go, give me high-value planets along this route. And it gave him a route that had him jump. His first jump was 44,000 light years. His second jump was 22,000 light years from there, but not back toward the bubble, right? Like it was in something like a 1,500 light year trip. It had him jumping 1,400 jumps, right? So it was something really, really crazy. By the way, I see a lot of you guys in Discord are muted right now. I don't have push to talk on. You guys are just self-muting. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't want to make it a pain in the ass for everybody. Okay, so back to minerals. So we're going to search and we're going to go for bodies. There's a few things that we're going to want to turn on here. So over here, we're going to turn on landmark type, and reference system. So our reference system is Colonia, since that's where we are. And for landmark type, we're going to start by turning them all on. Now, we specifically want the ones that are going to be geological. So we don't want that. Bark mounds, brain trees, crash ships, crystalline shards. There are none out here, unfortunately, but you could leave that on. Fumaroles, we definitely want that. Gas vents, definitely want that. Geysers or geysers, depending on which side of the pond you're on. Guardian ruins, not going to be any, not going to be guardian structures. Lava spouts, we want those. No surface, none of the rest of these. Okay, so we want these locations. Materials, let's say somebody name a mineral. Anybody, toss out a mineral.
Thallium.
Say it again.
Thallium or iron.
Iron.
There you go.
Let's pick something that's rare.
Iron.
Let's pick something rare. Like
Selenium.
Titanium?
Selenium. Well,
Selenium.
titanium doesn't exist in the game, does it? Does titanium? Yeah, titanium doesn't
Tectanium.
exist.
Tectanium, I think
No,
it's.
not as,
Technetium.
Selenium, though.
Yeah,
Good, though.
technetium.
Let's do. I did. You know what? I did selenium earlier, so let's do technetium. So we use technetium, and we search. And in our results, the first thing we're gonna want to turn on is, and this is just a display thing, is light years from where we are. So, come on. I love his little animation for finding it. Arsenic would have been a fine one. Ruthenium, absolutely. Any of these. Chromium, right? And sorry, stream, chat is a little behind real time in Discord. Although I'm curious if you guys are toggling between Twitch and YouTube, because I've been streaming YouTube at ultra low latency. All right. Doesn't usually take this long. By the way, another random thing about things taking a long time. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the URL shortener for Coriolis has been down for about 5 days now. I'm really.
I posted an alternate.
Sure, but it's I've been using TinyURL, but since it's built into the tool, right? I opened a ticket, or actually updated a ticket that somebody else had opened on the GitHub for it. So I'm hoping it's something he can resolve pretty quickly. It doesn't look to be a DNS issue. It looks to be a web server issue. So, okay.
Yeah, gateway.
So, now that we have our results, I like to turn on distance and light years just so I have an idea of how far the system's away. Because you see, all of a sudden, since we jump to pretty damn far, right? So we can look at the percentages. All right, technetium is a pretty rare one. This looks like a decent, of what we've got, this is the best, right? And it's specifically, if we look at landmarks, there's a fumarole here, and that's what we're going for. Oh, you know what? Damn it, I don't have a detailed surface scanner on this. I'm going to have to go back and get the ASP. So we would be heading to this system, but as I just realized, I don't think I have one on here. Nope, I don't. So sorry, I'm going to have to go back and get the ASP Explorer. So let's head on back, because we will need a detailed surface scanner to probe the planet with, to find the geological sites. Although, no, I want to show it anyway. I was going to say, I've been to that planet, so I'm sure I already have it probed, but I want to show everybody the process anyway. Jaffo, I've been missing a chat between you and, by the way, Punchy McTaint, great name. I gotta hit you. That's a great one. If you guys want to come join and have questions and would like to chat with us, please, by all means, you're welcome to come join us in Discord. I just pasted in the URL.
We had one question from Punchy that I said the yields were similar, but he was wanting to know what the difference was between mining the scenario you just did versus like the crashed Anaconda scenario mining. I said the yields are similar, it's just a different type scenario, right?
So when you say the crashed Anaconda, do you mean like the Jameson site where you're scanning the comm control beacons? Or are you talking about minerals or data?
Okay, that's Punchy, yes.
Yeah, but are you talking about minerals or data? Which were you guys talking about?
I assumed he was talking about data response.
Yeah, if you're Punchy, if you're talking about data, okay.
Bug killer. He was talking about bug killer or bug swatter or whatever the term is.
Thank you very much,
that he was
Cement.
calling. Yeah.
As always, I appreciate your support, my friend. You are way too kind to me. That's great. Thank you, buddy. Cement's here in Discord with us. I guess I'll have to be nice to him. We've got a PvP fight scheduled for after the stream, so I'll have to take it easy on you, I guess, Cement. But okay, so back to the question. So the bug killer site that has comm control beacons and the Jameson site that has comm control beacons is much more efficient than this, because there's 3 or 4 beacons there, 3 at the bug killer, 4 at Jameson. The big thing about Jameson being so much more efficient is you can literally sit in one spot, get in your turret and spin around and scan all 4 of them. You'll usually get at least 3 adaptive encryptor captures, which is a grade 5. So every time you log, you're going to get 9 grade 5s, pretty much. Sometimes 12, sometimes 6, but on average 9 at the Jameson site, and you'll fill up 100 grade 5s there in 15 minutes. And it's 2 jumps away from the material trader. The video, in fact, if you guys can find this and post it in, it'd be great. The video for gathering any material the fastest covers that method, and it's much more efficient than this. But unfortunately, as I know it, and I did go searching for some of those comm beacons, I spent probably 10 hours looking for them at several crash sites out here and couldn't find any. Assuming there are none out here, the mega ships that we just did are the most efficient way to get data out here in Colonia. Again, we're focused on Colonia tonight, not standard gathering in the bubble. Okay. There was also a question I wanted to go back to that I just saw on Twitch. Where did it go? Does this work with all mega ships? It works with all mega ships that you can't land at. All right, so the mega ships, like the one in this system, Doug Enigma, that has a shipyard and such, it does not work at those, right? It works at all the other mega ships. Okay, so so that's why, or how, right? And I'm saying all. I don't think I've ever seen a mega ship that did not have a hackable comms array, or hackable data transmitter, whatever it's called. But yeah, specifically not with the ones that are landable, just the ones that are, that you look at, right? The last one that we had to leave because a scenario spawned and we were getting attacked, that one actually has 3 of them there. So arguably it's a little more efficient because you can send your limpet, your recon limpet to one, start its hack, fly to the next one, start its hack there, fly to the next one. Although, as I said at the top of the show, the one of them was always bugged for me, and the limpet would attach and then just immediately stop working. But still, even having 2 is a little more efficient than the one we just visited. And thank you, Jaffa, for grabbing that video. I appreciate it. Yeah, no sweat, Punchy. That's the whole reason you're here. Why am I streaming at no, actually it doesn't, Patrick. The way that I stream like this now, although I think I saw that Streamlabs even added a better way to do this that I need to check is my computer streams to a server at my house to an app called Nginx, a web server like Apache, and then Nginx splits the stream and streams it to both of the different providers. The maximum you can stream to both is 5 megabit. I have a 20 megabit upstream. I do host a Plex server that I share with friends and stuff, and if anybody is using that at the time, I turn it off. I used to use restream.io, so you just stream once to them and they restream it to you, but it was always a pain in the ass. They added, they would mess with the descriptions and kind of inject their stuff, and so once I set this up, I really like it. I've even considered adding Mixer, just kind of because, does anybody stream Elite on Mixer? Does anybody watch Mixer? I know Ninja.
Not I.
Is Ninja
I don't
still
think anybody
exclusive?
streams.
Well, that Microsoft bought him and got him to be exclusive on stream.
But does he actually play Elite?
No, obviously not.
Okay.
He's a Fortnite player.
Right.
I mean, and yeah, if Mixer was going to pay me a 7-figure salary a year to stream on their platform, you fucking bet I would. I have a price, and it's well below 7 figures if anybody wants to pay me. Just to be clear. Nice thing about Colonia, every time I've landed here, I've seen at least one or two commanders. So it's kind of nice that it's a little inhabited. I've been trying to build up my friends list since this is my alt account. I don't have any friends on it. It's kind of nice to be. It's kind of nice to be random. And I don't know if Cartho 820 82636 happens to be on stream or not, but we just got a hi from somebody here. Okay, so let's switch over to my Asp Explorer. In fact, I've got a couple ships out here. The Vulture I have out here, I bought out here. So completely unengineered. Went and did some combat in it, which was kind of fun. You'll see to transfer. Oh, actually, I don't have any other ships because of this account. To transfer a ship out here from the bubble or back is 61 hours. And it's usually, I think it's roughly 3 times the cost of the ship. So if it's $1 billion cutter, it's going to cost you $3 billion to ship it out here. Patrick, what app are you using how are you doing it? Are you streaming just with Slob, with Streamlabs OBS to both, or what are you doing? And if you want, Patrick, since that's a little off topic for the stream, if you want to ping me on Discord later and chat about it, I'm happy to. In fact, I'll give credit to Yamix. He's the one that I got the idea from. He did a tutorial about streaming to multi-platform and specifically covered Nginx. And while I kind of had to... His tutorial wasn't exactly nice and clear and concise like mine are. It gave me enough to get through it and figure it out. And I've used Nginx for a long time. So, and you don't have to run Nginx on a separate computer. You could run it all on one. I just have a separate server at home, so I used that for it. Ballistic Pixels, and by the way, I love that name. I don't know about player groups out here yet. That's one of the things I plan to do a video on and do some research into what the player groups are out here, what squadrons might exist out here, and if there's any, and Pasto, you might know this. Oh, we lost Pasto. If there's any BGS out here, right? If there's any player groups that live out here, I would be surprised if there wasn't.
I think the SDC player group is supposed to be out there. I don't know that they have anybody who still plays, but...
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Lego. So back to what we were doing. We can keep chatting as I get underway. We're headed to look for raws. We're looking specifically for technetium, as we say. By the way, you could look for 2 materials at once. I could add, for example, selenium to this. The issue with doing that, though, is finding a planet that has a high value of both might mean that you get a lot less of each so that you can find a body that has both. So a lot of times, like for example, this first body has some technetium but no selenium, right? So a lot of times it's usually just easiest to search for a single one, but you can absolutely search for multiples, right? Okay, so we're going to go to this system right here. So let's copy that. Paste this in. By the way, this works exactly the same for console players. You're just going to have to manually type this in, unfortunately. And let's get to jumping. Make sure, okay. Make sure I have an SRV. Yeah, elite fixes would be a nice thing to wish for, wouldn't it? Yeah, and Patrick, ping me after the stream because I'm happy to chat about the way I do it and give you some suggestions. Another thing that you might want to look into for streaming is the app Streamlabs, or excuse me, not Streamlabs, Voice Meter Banana. It's a voice mixing application that I specifically started using it so that I could control either the volume or streaming of, I could stream my voice and game voice but not Discord, or my voice and Discord but not game, or any combination I want thereof. It's not super simple to set up. I actually have a tutorial covering how to set it up. If that's something that floats your boat, once you start using voice meter, and I have to thank Jaffo. We lost Jaffo. Oh no, we did. I have to thank Jaffo for setting me up with that originally. It's a really, really great app. Okay, so let's look what body we were heading to. We're heading to body 6. Let me give a quick example and show another one. Okay, here's a good one. When you see a number, the letter would denote the star, so A being the first star, B being the second star, then the second planet first moon. In this case, it's only showing us a number, meaning there's a single star, and we're just going to body 6. If it said like 6A or 6DE, that would be 6th planet, 4th moon, and then 5th submoon, because you can absolutely have submoon. I've never seen a system that had submoons of submoons, though. So we're going to open the system map. We're going to go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not 6. That's got to be 6 because it's not landable. That's got to be 6. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 4, 5, 6. It's unexplored now, and as we approach it, our ship will scan it, and it will resolve the name for us. I'm doing pretty well. Daryl, how are you, buddy? 1 a.m. in England. Yep, up late, aren't you? That's why I start the Friends on Friday stream so much earlier, so that hopefully it can catch you folks over in over on the other side. For those that have been here since my incorrect start time of 6 p.m., which was 2 hours before I actually started, if any of you guys are left, I really appreciate it. I'm very sorry, but appreciate you hanging in. You know, Ghost Giraffe's another one that he and I have been chatting back and forth about doing something together, a collab. I want to have him on stream sometime. We just haven't figured out what to do yet. Which has been an honor for me because he was one of the first YouTubers. He and Obsidian Ant were the first two YouTubers that I started watching when I was learning the game. See, I learned back in the day when we learned through word of mouth and a little bit on the forums, right? Because there weren't really any YouTubers yet. As I said, you saw our
I'm
ship.
self-taught. I'm a prodigy.
Of course you are. Super soldier here, guys. And so you see that the ship scanned it, so we confirmed that we are, in fact, headed to Planet 6.
I know Obsidian Ant is the
Thanks,
announcer
Patrick.
voice for that one station.
Yep, Obsidian Orbital.
Does Ghost Giraffe
Not
have
that I know
a
of. I
station?
think Obsidian's the only one whose actual voice is tied to a station. That's a good question, though. Pasto, do you know? If anybody else has... Player would be the only other one I could think of. But I don't think his is.
I don't think so. Obsidian also has.
Giving it to you.
Yeah, they still have the they have the voice pack too. Which
Right.
is
There's an
Obsidian
HCS
Ant's
voice pack of
pack.
Obsidian's voice. Yep. Why would you mine anything? Well, because it pays incredibly well, Mad Mouse. That's one reason. We're going to go do surface mining or prospecting here in just a minute. And yes, Obsidian Orbital and Maya. That's right, Patrick. Okay, so as we approach the planet, we now need to probe it to reveal the geological points of interest. So we got points of interest turned on, but we don't see any yet. We're going to look. This one's going to take 6 probes. This is the best firing pattern for 6. If you fire at this middle line, that's going to hit it on the top side of the body. So if we go to the equidistant point from the dot, the middle, and about right there, that's going to loop the probe around to the back. Now I'm going to fire one at that top. I do this pattern, now at a 45-degree angle down at the bottom, one on this side, and then one straight ahead. We switch out of that. And as we'll see in a second, we'll see it start to probe everything. And that should be enough to probe the whole planet. And it did.
And that's with stock probes, right?
I think I'm engineered on this, but yes, stock probes with that same firing pattern would do the exact same thing. Let me check and see if I am engineered. I think I am on this one. Yeah, I am engineered, only grade 3, but yes, the same exact pattern, because in fact, I could have definitely done it with less, because it told me that the efficiency target was 6. You can see at the bottom right, it says efficiency target 6 probes. So I, no question, could do it with 6. With an engineered one, I easily could have done it with 5, if not 4. So, okay, now that we've scanned it, we look, and look at that. We've got a whole bunch of geological signals. We can pick really any of these. I like to select them visually on the sunny side if possible. So we'll fly up. The dotted lines mean that it's on the other side. Let's see if that one is close enough that it's still in the sun. Looks like it's going to be. Yep. And I like to pick them where they're not super rocky, and that doesn't look super great because it might be a little in a crater. Let's see if we can't find something a little smoother. Oh, the days of when we had to use actual coordinate navigation to find anything. Let's see where that one is. I do have a video that covers the old method of planetary navigation where we literally had to line up, and the way you would do it is you'd fly on a compass heading of, like, for example, 180, and if I fly at 180, only my latitude changes, not my longitude, and you would get to about where you wanted, and then you would change again. You'll notice I'm also flying with my side of the planet. That's because pitch is so much faster than yaw. Yeah, this looks like a better candidate. Well, Michael, mining can definitely be boring. I find it pretty zen. I like to, if I'm doing it by myself, put on some music, put on a movie, and just get in VR, have an overlay going of movie in there. I've done it where I've got one overlay window on the left playing a movie, another window on the right playing Texas Hold'em poker with a bunch of friends in Discord, and the immersion of that, of feeling like I'm like this space miner or space trucker in the year 306, just doing my job, hanging out with friends, is I really enjoy it. And wing laser mining, I did a video on that recently. Not only pays phenomenally well. We made 250 million an hour when low temp diamonds were paying 1.6 million, which is pretty rare, but it does happen. But even with wing mining, with wing when they're paying like $1 million, which is pretty common, you can make 200 million an hour, and I find it a ton of fun.
I played PlanetSide 2 in a window while I was mining once.
Did you seriously?
Yeah, it was interesting. The thing is, though, you can't really play another game while you're playing a game, and then
right. Elite Dangerous, the only game where you entertain yourself while you're playing.
Yeah. Well, there are other MMOs that had mini games inside of them. EverQuest had jewels in it, like a Tetris game.
Oh, interesting. And now we'll notice, guys, just quickly, let me point out, this, I didn't see this before, but this is actually a great place to mine because of this. The gravity's rather high, so it's 1.3 G here, and that means that whenever we find a mineral, it's not going to go flying up into space super high. It's going to fall quickly, and it's going to be a lot better to mine. So, grab our SRV. Deep core is also really fun. The negatives to deep core is it doesn't pay nearly as much as laser mining right now, and you can't really do it in a wing, but it arguably is a ton more fun. Okay, now that we're in the SRV, which I'll admit is one of my absolute favorite things to do in the game. I love the SRV, specifically in VR, like just the immersion of it, the feeling of being on a planet like this, right, with the super dense sky. You've got the nebula. Can we see any planets? No planets in this view. I love it, right? What we're looking for are any of these contacts, specifically crystalline clusters and crystalline fragments. These are going to have generally much higher grade minerals than just the Pisceus cobble, if I'm saying that right at all. Forgive me if I'm not. Another quick tip. These just show up on your scanner. As such, we do not have to have our wave scanner on. So for example, let me turn it up. You hear that horrible sounding wave scanner? Well, we can turn that off and have a lot more relaxing experience because we don't really need it. Once we've cleared out the site a little bit and you're not finding anything, it will show you, using the scanner, and I do have a video that covers the SRV. It will help you find them a little easier, but right now, as we can just see them on our scanner, it's pretty easy. So we're going to target the crystalline fragments. I got to give Aposta credit for teaching me this, to drive from the turret I steer with my feet. There's some manganese. We look for technetium. I think that's what we came for. Open our cargo hold. Let's grab that. The only bad thing here is you have to kind of pop in and out of it. All right, that's Perseus cobble. There's another crystalline fragment. You'll notice sometimes these things shoot way up in the sky and you're waiting forever for them to come down. Well, as heavy as the gravity is here, they're just going to fall right back to the earth like that. Selenium. Okay, so we got a selenium. And we're just going to go around, and everything we see that's a crystalline fragment or needle crystals, anything with crystal is what we're looking for. Got to do that crystal, baby. That was a really bad joke, wasn't it? Technetium. There we go. Already found technetium. Okay. Ah, look at that. New material discovered. Haven't found technetium on this account yet. And so, let's see what this one is. And you're just going to do this molybdenum, another high grade one, higher grade one. There are no grade 5 minerals. They only go up to grade 4. Perseus cobble. And so you guys get the idea, right? You're going to drive around farming these until the site, and this is nickel, right? So again, a much lower grade. Look at our contacts, and you see there's tons of them in the area. So much, much more efficient than just driving around on the surface of a planet, looking for mining fragments to spawn and going for them one at a time, right? You're going to have a big field of them and just easy to get them. We'll grab this one. Arsenic. I think somebody requested arsenic earlier anyway. I want to see if we can find one more technetium before I go. And I'm kind of scanning right now. You'll see as you scan across, the targetable ones show up. So sometimes you can do that without even going into the scanner. Arsenic again. Oh, there's one. I'll be pretty lucky tonight. Manganese. And so just quickly, for those that don't know, if you bring up the system map, especially once you've probed a planet, here it's going to show us the percentages of things. And interestingly, technetium, not surprisingly, is the lowest percentage. So we're going to get that less than, arguably, it's all random as we know, but it'll give you the percentages of what you're potentially going to get. And a planet like this, even with 4 pips and engines, you are not going to get much altitude. Come on. Perseus cobble, another crystalline fragment. Oh, there it is. It's a little tricky driving, steering with your feet like this because, oops, didn't open my cargo bay. Because, turning your feet doesn't turn the turret. Whoops, that's a little big to drive over, isn't it? Sorry about that. So you kind of have to get used to turning your turret. You guys can see this with my controls on screen. Turning your roll and yaw at the same time. At least that's how I bind mine. Oh, come on. I did want to find one more technetium before we go, if possible. Molybdenum. Let's see if we got them all. Okay, I'm not seeing more. So this is where, if you wanted to, we turn our wave scanner back on. You can see that there are still some things in the area. Yep, and there's a Perseus cobble. And you'll also notice they do show up on my scanner as targetable. There's another one over here somewhere. Yep, there's one. Crystalline fragments. Let's try that one. It's also interesting. You'll notice that the structures here are very, very flat and not very tall because of the high gravity. I actually really love that touch. That things wouldn't grow the big giant towers that they do. Giant's the wrong word. Well, maybe I'm not going to get another technetium. In fairness, it is one of the... Oh, okay, there's a whole bunch around. Just up here where it's getting a little rocky. All right, this is the last one I'm going to try. If this one doesn't have it, I'm just going to head back out. because like the others, you would pick up everything, and the key here is using the material traders, right? So you're going to gather just everything in the area and then go hit a material trader when you're done. With, again, ED Engineer telling you specifically when you have enough to trade for what you want. And yeah, to point out really quickly for those that live in the bubble, the fastest raw materials really are the fastest thing to fill up on by using the crystalline shards. Maybe if one of the moderators could grab that video and toss it in, I'd appreciate it. You can go out to the crystalline sites. There's 6 of them. The only mineral you can't get from those sites is selenium. So I actually have a separate video specifically on selenium using the method we're doing right now. And if you go to the crystal shard sites, it's about, Apostle, what'd you say, 4 hours to do the full loop?
Yeah, to give yourself 4 hours.
Yeah. First time maybe a little longer to hit, because the sites are about 1,000 light seconds away from the main star, so a little bit of a super cruise flight. It's about 1,500 light years from the bubble, but doing that loop in that, hitting those things in about 4 or 5 hours will max out all of your high grade, your grade 4 raws, except for selenium. If you do that loop twice, meaning you go out once, then you take all the grade 4s that you gathered, trade down to fill up all your grade 1 through 3s, and then go back to do it one more time, you might not have to farm raws for a year or for 10 ships worth of engineering, right? So it's a lot to do. I actually really enjoy it. The sites out there are really beautiful. So it seems like a lot of work and kind of boring work, but it's very efficient, and it's the kind of thing that, in elite time, 5 or 10 hours is kind of nothing, right? Okay, so we've done raw, we've done encoded. Let's go do manufactured, which is the dreaded high grade emission. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to be looking for any populated system that's in either none or boom state, which is going to be almost all of them. So again, we're going to go back to EDDB. We're going to go to the Systems tab. We're going to say that we're in Colonia. We're going to say faction state. None is probably going to be the most common out here. None, and filter systems. And here we go. Oh, actually, boom maybe is. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. There we go. There we go. Boom's what we want. So all of these systems are going to be independent boom. And as such, we're basically only going to get protos. We're going to get proto heats, proto radiolics, and proto lights. The good thing is, with luck, we should be able to fill up 100 of them in about 20 minutes, including hitting a material trader. And again, those 100 are going to become 16 of any other grade 5, or depending on the trade rates, 300 of any grade 4, 900. Like, the trade down rates are very, very favorable. So let's look at this real quick. Is there a way to store it at the station? Are you in the limit I've seen in 1 or 2 of your videos? Michael, maybe I'm not understanding your question. If you mean store it in terms of minerals, engineering data, minerals, or manufactured are all only stored on your ship. They transfer from ship to ship. It's not like a commodity. There are limits for each, like you get 100 grade 5, 150 grade 4s, 200, 250, and 300 down the line, right? So those just stay in each of your ships and don't transfer, if that's what you're asking. And in short, the only thing you can store to station are ships or modules, period. So once we get into a system, we're going to look at the nav beacon. We're going to lock onto the nav beacon, and we're going to drop at the nav beacon. This is one of the times where a Supercruise Assist module is really handy. So we lock that, we line up, and now we go answer some comments. We go take a break. We get something to drink. We take a leak, whatever. Big fan of the Supercruise Assist module for this. Yeah, Daryl, the Guardian data and the Guardian stuff is rarely used. It's used for some of the unlocks, and it is used for some of the Guardian synthesis for weapons, but it's really, I never suggest people go fill up on that, to be honest with you.
To quote a good friend, time to take a bio break, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the reason we're dropping at the nav beacon, if we turn on signal sources, is all of these unidentified. There's actually a lot more that are just further away. By scanning the nav beacon, it will resolve all of them. Now, we could use the for fuck's sake scanner, or the FSSSS. I don't know how many S's are on that damn thing. The FSSSSSSS scanner, but that takes a whole lot longer than just locking the nav beacon, like we just did. You'll see the little scan thing in the nav bottom left where it says nav beacon spin a bit. When it's done spinning, we jump back to Super Cruise. And now we're looking on our nav panel to see, is there a high grade emission here? And we glance, and look at that. We found a high grade. So we're going to target that high grade. We see in the top right, it has 13 minutes and 23 seconds left, which means we might not be able to fill up on it. Usually if you've got 15 minutes, you can maybe do it if you've got 12 if you're really fast, but 15 to 20 is going to be good. We could look and see if there happen to be any other high grades. The most I've ever seen in a system were 7. A friend the other day said he saw a system with 8, but that's really rare. Oh, and Daryl, don't sweat it, man. If you've got questions, please toss them out. I mean, everything that we're doing, again, there's going to be a video that I'll release very, very soon. I actually narrated it and started editing it tonight that covers all of this in about a 5-minute video. And it's very similar to the other video that we've shared in a few times. And maybe you guys, if you've got that handy again, and can paste in the how to gather any material video. Honestly, not to toot my own horn, that might be the most important video I've ever done for engineering, because it shows that by far the most efficient ways of getting manufactured raw and encoded data. And let's face it, when it comes to engineering, it's the material gathering that takes so long. And the methods in that video are so incredibly efficient. Not fun like we're doing tonight, but they're super, super efficient. At these days, to fully engineer a ship, it would maybe take you, with bad luck, 4 hours maximum of material gathering. No, Michael, I don't switch to open and solo in that one. You do things like the Jameson crash site. You want to do that in solo because if another commander is there, you can't share the site with them. So you just need to have it to yourself. Everything else in that video I do in open. The difference is what we're about to do a little differently with this high grade right here. So let me get there though. So with the high grade, I should have shown this first. I love, again, using the Super Cruise Assist. I can lock to that. Just sit here, go do something else. More importantly, I can go to 0 throttle so that when I step away and I drop in on it, it's just going to drop me in and I'm not going to go screaming past it. Oh, dude, Michael, don't be sorry, man. That's why you're here. That's the whole point of these streams. That's tutorial. Again, we did it late this week, but Tutorial Tuesday, the whole point is for you guys to ask questions and learn some type of gameplay. Discord's being rather quiet tonight. Usually we have, like we did earlier when we were talking about, open play and PvP. Usually when there's a topic for us to kind of discuss through, we have a little more lively discussion, because personally I hate the just watch a dude play a video game type streams. So that's why I try to engage folks in Discord to ask questions, which if you want to join us, Michael, you're more than welcome to. Or if there's something like when we're discussing open or PvP, when there's opinions involved, I like to have a group in. With this, it's not, there are different ways to do things, but it's pretty straightforward. Like this is the best way kind of stuff. Patrick, my audio's not cutting in and out, is it? It's something you're doing, right?
No, your audio's fine.
Okay. Patrick on YouTube.
All three,
I think
on
he
all
was.
three platforms.
Yeah, I think Patrick was the one that was playing with different things. No, Michael, but at the same time, it is my show, but it's for you guys. So you having questions that you ask and other people benefit from, please. Again, that's the whole point. If I don't think it's a good question, I won't answer it. So don't sweat it.
I'm noticing a couple of hiccups on the Discord end, but the YouTube's been perfectly smooth.
Discord for the last couple of weeks, for a lot of us, specifically me, it's been really bad in terms of bandwidth, right? Like I've been getting a lot of just, a couple times earlier when Aposto was talking, it was really bad. So
Yeah,
okay,
it sounds like
is Discord switching the platform
I
like
don't
a
know.
lot of companies are because
Yeah.
of the coronavirus?
No,
You know,
this
they're
has
switching
happened
over to
well before.
UDP from TCP
No, this was
because
happened
of the
well before
handshake.
that. Yeah, this was well before that. So okay, so now that we've dropped in, we'll check our contacts and notice we got proto heat radiators, which is a grade 5. You will always get grade 5. Sometimes you'll get proto heats and proto radiologs and proto lights, which is a grade 4, so, or core dynamics and proprietary composites. You get a 5 and a 4, but you're always going to get a 5. So we got proto heats. If I had, did I bring limpets? I did bring limpets. Okay. So we would then open our cargo hatch, deploy all our collectors. Again, the key here is having as many limpets. 4 limpets is really ideal for this. The Phantom is better for this because you can get a lot more cargo space. Like I only brought 32 tons of cargo and I only brought like a few limpets just as an example. So we let our limpets pick everything up. And the 5 we just got is going to be 15, right? Because if you guys don't remember, with engineering materials, it's a 3-to-1. You pick one thing up and you get 3 of it. It used to be 1-to-1, and people almost fucking rioted. And so they, as a short-term fix, made it 3-to-1. And also, we used to engineer, for those that weren't playing back 3 years ago, when engineering first started, you not only had to use minerals, data, and manufactured goods, but you also had to use cargo. So you had to have cargo space and go buy cargo for engineering, and it was horrible. And they finally were like, well, we'll test for a weekend not having cargo anymore, and it never came back. So fortunately. Okay, so now that we've gathered everything, there is a big trick to this that is very different than normal other gameplay. To be clear, I confirmed with Frontier that this is absolutely not a violation of the terms of service. Specifically to exit the game for the purpose of getting materials or missions to respawn is not an exploit. It does not break the terms of service. There's nothing they would do to you for this, okay? It's lame, right? And I wish there was better gameplay for this, but this is the way to do it. So once we've filled up, we are going to exit to desktop, not just to main menu. So let's exit. I think I might have closed the launcher. We go. Whoop. Oh, where'd the launcher go? Oh, it's here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. We then log back in. If we were playing Horizons, we log back into Horizons. Thank you, Inhaxed X, if I'm saying that right. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, Punchy, I know that I've got to point that out. I pride myself on never doing a video on something that would be considered by Frontier an exploit. When, in my opinion, actually, when you boil it down, the only person that can identify something as an exploit, as in breaking the terms of service, is Frontier. And so I opened a ticket with them before I made the previous video on this method to confirm that it was not before I did that. Okay, so we log back in to the same mode we were in. So I was in open before. I'm going to go back into open. And the next key is we're going to charge for jump, but we are not going to throttle up. So I'm at 0 throttle. When I'm ready to jump, I boost to make myself jump. Again, I am staying at 0 throttle. This is key. We look at the right panel and you see this unidentified signal source that is probably behind us. Oh, I got lucky and it's in front of me. Usually it's behind us. If I line up on that, it is the same high grade. We throttle up to it. And if you exit to main menu and Frontier flop, this will not happen. But if you exit game, it will. We see the high grade. We drop back into it. And doing this method, and you'll notice we were talking and stuff and taking our time. I've got 4.5 or 447 left on it. We look, we got proto heat radiators again. We pop out our collectors. We open our cargo hatch. And for this, you would want to use, I think I am, you would want to use, use an A. You would generally want to use B-rated collectors for this. I think they didn't have Bs out here. You would want to use B-rated because you care about the longer range. So B-rated collectors have a longer range on the distance the limpets can go, where A-rated have a longer lifespan, which is 720 seconds versus 420 seconds, I think. Well, look, I mean, I used them for a few seconds. So it's the distance I want, not the range. So I'll do this one last time. So we log out. Log right back in. Console players, you can do this too. I don't have a console, so I don't remember exactly how to do it, but you would exit basically all the way to like the dashboard on either console and then restart the game. So it does take a lot longer to do that loop. You're not going to be able to gather, as many in say 20 minutes like a console or a PC player can, but it absolutely works on console. Okay, so now that we log back in. By the way, Jaffo, I got yet another new headset today, and it is yet another one that is locked to 16 kilohertz and sounds like shit.
So the old Queen song, another one bites the dust.
Dude, it's the 6th headset I've been through. So just a quick story. I have this not old, actually, a couple years old, like office style, call center style headset. This is probably it right here in front of me. Normally, guys, it's behind me. I'm getting really lucky with it in front of me because you can do this a lot faster when it's in front of you. We'll see how much time is left on it. So I could probably do this one more time after this. I'll do it just this last time as an example. I've only got 4 limpets left anyway. Oh shit! I dropped too early. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. Hold on. But yeah,
we almost need to do a TV show like Leonard Nimoy in search of the headset.
yeah, right. So I have this headset. It's a call center style wireless single ear boom mic. I like it because of, damn it. Well, I just looped that. Okay, hold on a second. And this is usually what happens. They're usually behind you. So you loop around on it. And so anyway, it sounds like shit. We all jokingly call it potato mic because of how bad it is. So I finally decided, okay, I'm going to replace this and buy another nice one. I've now been through 6 different headsets. I'm willing to spend as much as I've had 4 headsets that were north of $200, a couple that were almost $300, and they're all locked at a sample rate of 16 kilohertz, which Windows calls tape recorder quality. And even that is a stretch for how terrible they are. And I mean, I've literally now returned 6 headsets to Amazon. I'm waiting for them to be like, hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing? All right, so we'll get our last 4 limpets out. We'll pick these guys up. And yeah, as far as this, I was very, very specific to discuss this in terms of exploit, because if you want to call this an exploit in that you're exploiting a lame game mechanic to get it to do something, I'll give you that. But I get really, really particular with the word exploit because exploit means cheating, right? As in, like, Frontier would ban you for it. Like other exploits we've had in the past, like there was an exploit a long time ago where you could roll grade 5 engineering rolls using grade 1 materials. If you did, I never learned how to do it. If you did this certain thing, like exiting the menu, the engineering menu at just the right time, something like that, that was an exploit that would get you banned. There was an exploit where if you dropped into a certain type of ring, only the only asteroids that would spawn would be motherlode asteroids, right? That was a bug and clearly an exploit that would get you in trouble, right? This specifically, as I confirmed with Frontier, will not. Is it lame? Yes. Will it get you banned? No. Okay, so last thing, and I'm sure Apostro's going to chime in. Last thing is we're going to route to a manufactured material trader. So let's jump there, and we're going to finish out with that. Yep, there's been lots of exploits in the terms of, like, again, something that would get you banned and is defined. At one point, there was a way that you could make, there was that money exploit where you could make, like, it was missions that were paying over 40 million, I think they said. If you take these missions, we're going to take them away from you. And the guys that used the engineering exploit, because Frontier was able to determine who did it, not only did they take away the modules that they engineered, they took away every single module they had engineered. Right? So they got pretty more than harshly. And that was back when we had the old school where you had to do like 100 rolls, 1,000 rolls to get something good, not the engineering we have now. So it was really, really brutal for those guys. But Frontier had come out and said, this is an exploit, do not do this. So.
Right, and like I was telling Punchy, I can confirm that.
Yeah. And Timothy, Timothy's pointing out Blue Parrot. Yeah, great mics too. I've been through a couple Jabras, however you say it. I've now been through 2 Plantronics. I've been through a Logitech. And all of them are billed as, high-end soft phone or, like for Skype and Google Hangouts and things like that, because that's specifically only what I want it for. And I'm stunned that so far all of them, save for one, there was one Jabra that would let you set it to 48,000, and it sounded fantastic. I think, Apostle, you heard that mic, didn't you?
Yes.
And it sounded great, didn't it?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but there were many other problems with that headset. I also don't want to go, like, it would just disconnect. The mic would just stop working. And I actually had 2 of them because it worked. So I was like, great, maybe this was just effective. I got another one that did the exact same thing. I really don't want to go Bluetooth because I want something, and I mean, I might, because I might just have to, but the headsets I've been using are called DECT, D-E-C-T tech, so they use 900 megahertz wireless, and they literally have like a 450-foot range on them. So I can go walk my dogs while I'm chatting with friends, I can work all around the house, where anything Bluetooth is going to have, a 15-foot, 20-foot range. It's not even going to let me walk to my kitchen, for example. So for the moment, I've been relegated to, which also kind of works just fine, and I might just be stuck using my cell phone, which, again, works okay, but it's not as simple as just picking up I'm so used to this, picking up a headset, putting it on, and then just walking away from the computer.
Well, X, it could be worse, because your standard old-school landlines, the voice was sampled at 8.
Yeah. And in fact, my current potato mic is an 8 kilohertz device.
And that's why it's a potato mic.
Yep, exactly, right. And the sad thing is, that thing I love it. It was $150. It's super, super comfortable. I love the way the mute button works on it. It's got a little mute light to let me know. It's got great battery life. The sound quality on my end, on the speaker, is great. It just sounds horrible for everyone in Discord. So really, I'm trying to do something nice for everybody in Discord and not have them have to listen to me sounding like shit. Because, when the main way we all communicate with each other is obviously voice, I want to sound high quality like this mic. In fact, I originally bought this mic at Jaffo's suggestion about 2 weeks before I started the YouTube channel. I really got it just to have a high quality mic for Discord. And I've told the story a few times. The very first video I ever did, I narrated with one of the text-to-speech bots. And a few friends, I don't know if you ever heard that one, Joffo. I know Fluffy and Zadoria did. We're like, no, dude, you cannot do that, right? Your voice is, because I was like, my voice sucks.
All kinds of,
yeah, they were like, no, dude, your voice is not that bad. You have to do it with your real voice.
No, your voice is better than Obsidian.
I don't know that I've even got it anymore. Maybe I could dig it up.
Just tell you what, not the YouTube
somebody just
stream.
post in YouTube chat, did somebody just reference you to your own referral in EDTutorials? I don't want to mention names.
Wait, what do you mean?
I need to go back and read.
Yeah, okay. I haven't been watching chat, so I've been missing it.
I think somebody just referenced you on a mic setting, on how to do a mic setting, your own referral.
Oh, in other words, like you should go watch this tutorial, which is my
In other
own.
words, yeah, they just referred to you to your own referral.
That's funny.
I think. I don't want to mention any names.
Okay, so we're going to land at... By the way, this is one of the cool... Last time I was here, it was sunny. This is one of the cool material traders because it's in an asteroid belt. It's a mega ship here, as you can kind of... Here, night vision. There we go. Now you can see, right? Night vision and asteroid belt. And I was here earlier in the daylight, and it was really pretty. Let's get landed.
Yes. X, you can answer Patrick's question. How do you turn off Super Cruise Assist?
Oh, yeah, pretty simple. So if you go over to ship, to flight assistance. Super Cruise Assist. Well, you can set it to auto throttle or manual throttle, where essentially you would, if it's on auto throttle, once you line up for something, it just immediately sets you at 75% throttle and takes over and you're good. For manual throttle, you set it, and actually that's how I generally like it. You set it to 75% whenever you want, and then it will automatically drop you, and that will actually get you somewhere the fastest. Because if you set it for 75% throttle the whole journey, and say you're going 10,000 light seconds, you're going to go a lot slower than if you just do the 75% at 7-second trick. Or if you just don't want to use Super Cruise Assist at all, when you select it, it's not here now because I'm in normal space, you would not select, Super Cruise Assist. You would just lock it, but not lock it with Super Cruise Assist. I think if that's what you were asking, Patrick. Hey,
I think you can also power the module off too.
And obviously the other thing I was to say, absolutely you can power the module off. Hey, let's see if we can make a friend. Whoops. Send friend request. Put my gear down. My landing gear button is on my racing steering wheel, which literally just died tonight. So I keep forgetting to do gear because the button's not working. Alrighty. Last thing we're going to do. And so the material traders, again, I have a video that covers how to use them and how to find them. One of the things I would recommend if you live out in Colonia is just go ahead and bookmark the 3 of them. You see I've got the 3 here. And there is a separate one for each type. Heaven knows we couldn't do it all in one place and save ourselves some time. But at least there are 3 of them out here. So we go to contacts. Material trader, and now let's say I needed pharmaceutical isolators. I was going to do grade 5 dirty drives. I would select it and say I want to use my proto heats, and you see that I would, from the little bit that we just farmed then, because I think I had 1 to start with, we now have 7 pharmaceutical isolators, right? So what the point I'm getting at is, while we didn't necessarily care for this proto heat specifically, we can get 16 of any other grade 5 by using the trader and the high grade method we just did in 20. I mean, look, it was the first system we went to, and that's not always going to be the case. But usually it's the first couple. Like high grades, the spawn rates are much better these days. Or we could trade down for, say, thermic alloys and trade a 2-for-1 deal. If we traded down in the same category, we get a 1-for-3. If we go all the way to the bottom, we get a 81-for-1, right? So you can trade for any of the things that you might want. And I don't know what I want. Right? I did go through recently and do this and make sure I had at least 1 of everything. Let's see if there's anything I don't have. 1 of. I figured that way I can do at least 1 roll of everything. So yeah. But I would go through. Again, the other one you might get out here is proto-radiolics. But I would probably just, whichever one of the 2 I found, I would fill up on it and then go trade. And then if I needed more, I would go back and do the same thing. And that's material gathering in Colonia. As we're exiting here, and so in a minute, wow, that did almost take 2 hours. In a minute, we're going to follow tradition. At the end of my streams, we always do CQC. So if there's enough folks that are interested, if we have 4 or 6 of us at least, we'll do some CQC. If you've never done CQC before, it's awesome. Don't believe the FUD. The only negative to CQC is it's very difficult to get a match. And because we're going to bring enough players with us, conceivably, we will get a match pretty much right away. It is awesome fun. Aposto, if you're still here, why don't you sell CQC to everybody?
CQC, like you're saying, is super fun. The only drawback is, the matchmaking system doesn't tell you very much about what's going on, so you'll end up sitting in the screen loading and think it's broken, or just run out of patience to wait. Use CQC Discord, check for activity there, post, say, hey, anybody playing team deathmatch, or capture the flag. See if you could pick up. People are always kind of watching. Once you get into CQC, it's one of the best ways of just having a really good time, fun. It's sort of like, it reminds me. Someone was talking to me today, actually. It reminds them of Descent.
Oh yeah,
It's fast paced,
that's a good,
and
yeah, good comparison.
it's
Not
it's
as fast paced as Descent, but it's
right.
yeah. There, and by the way,
And you
there's
still have physics, because Descent didn't have
that's right.
Newtonian physics in
That's
it.
right.
But
That's right. And to be
um,
clear, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no
right.
rebuys. If
That's what I
anything,
was
you.
just gonna
Oh,
say.
sorry, Pastor. Let you finish then.
Yep. And it doesn't cost you like any rebuys. There's no negatives to it. You can learn how to use pip management that crosses over. The fighters do play a little bit differently than in games, so you don't think you're going to become a PvP per se, but there are some skills that you learn, like proper pip management, how to fly with flight assist off. There's power ups. It's arena based. There's I think
You know
it's
the
4 maps or 5.
installations. Yeah, I think it's 5. You know
Yeah.
the installations in game, kind of like the mega ship we just went to, the big installations. Well, those originally started in CQC, and some of them are gorgeous. There's an asteroid map that is in deep, deep space, so the star field's super dense. My favorite one is there's a space elevator, so literally you see the tether running down to the planet, which is really fucking cool.
And
And
you fly around those installations, through them, inside
yeah,
them, down backwards down tunnels, doing reverse barrel rolls. I mean, it is hilarious fun. And then there's power ups, and so you kind of race each other to see what kind of power ups you get. And it's just a really good time. So that's about all I
yeah, and
can
the
really
power
say.
ups that Apostle mentioned, there's 4 of them. There's a double damage that gives you double damage. I think it lasts about 10 or 15 seconds. There's a shield boost that doubles your shields. And the great thing about shield boost is if you have no shields, like they've dropped and they haven't regened yet, bam, they immediately go back to full double strength. There's speed surge, which only lasts for a couple seconds, and it's kind of lame because of that. And then there's stealth, which is similar to say silent running, right? And yeah, there's team deathmatch, 4-on-4 if you have that many, deathmatch, which is just straight 8 people all deathmatch, and then there's capture the flag, which is up to 4-on-4 and is fucking awesome. As a nice segue, this incredible neon green gas giant that I just arrived at. So this is just a little glimpse of some of the beauty out here in Colonia. Because tell me that's not stunning. Right? I love this fucking planet. Talk about asps in front of things. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but to me, and this is another one that in VR is just really, really incredible. In fact, let me go down and drop in the asteroid field because that's a really cool thing to do too. If you guys are up for joining us in CQC, you don't have to join us in Discord. It's obviously a little easier if you do. If you're in Discord but you don't have a mic for whatever reason, I'm watching the general chat channel. Usually I'm watching live streaming. I just didn't queue it up tonight. So if you've got questions or want to say, hey guys, wait for me kind of thing, jump in. I don't usually stream it because I like to play it in VR, but since we've talked it up so much here, I'll stream the first match. Sometimes Aposto and I have trouble getting matches. Aposto is much higher ranked in it than I am, but I'm like 48, I think. You go to tell them about prestiging, Aposto.
So every time, it's kind of like Call of Duty. Once you reach level 50, you can choose to prestige or reset to level 1. And then there's levels of prestiges that you get different emblems for. And there's a couple good reasons to do it. The first one is the first time you prestige, you will unlock CQC Homeworld. It's a system that's permit locked. The only way to unlock that system is by prestiging at least once in CQC. Now, that system sells all the modules in one spot, just like Shinrarta.
So it's a much
Without
safer Shinrarta, basically.
Yeah, it's
right?
a safer Shinrarta. And you get an additional discount on FDLs. They are 30% off. So you can save some money on an FDL, which I think is kind of interesting. Like, it's kind of promoting the combat ship in the open world by
Absolutely.
doing well in CQC.
And so just before we head out of the main game here, guys, you see again, this area of space is just beautiful, right? You know, you see the light rays here, right? You've got this beautiful green gas giant, you know, up through the you know, the fog here. This is one of my favorite places to come. Actually, I forgot I had that camera set. Do a little flyaway. Oh, gonna hit the rock and through the rock. So with that, why is my whole HUD dead? Oh, good question. So as you see, I'm turning my HUD on and off here. That's done with the keyboard command Control Alt G. And by the way, I wanted to comment. Somebody said, yeah, Lightkeep said that sponsored by Monster Energy drink. Good comment, because yes, it is. But Control Alt G turns your HUD off. So if you want to view pretty stuff like this and you don't want all the bright lights, unfortunately, it doesn't turn everything off. Like as you see, those little accent lights don't turn off. There's a few things like that that don't. But especially again, in VR, it's a really great way to get to enjoy, you know, some of the beauty without all the light pollution. I use a little utility called Joy2Key, Joytokey, that lets you bind any keyboard command to any, you know, any like joystick button. So on my HOTUS, I've got a switch on my throttle that lets me just toggle it really quickly. So, okay, with that, let's jump into CQC. So, if you're in Discord and you'd like to join for CQC, let's jump into Apostle. Do you mind if we use the war room?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah. So if you're gonna play CQC, jump up into the war room channel right now. Apostle, would you mind jumping up to lobby and let them know that we're about to play CQC and see if they want to join?
Sure.
We're just doing this to get a head count to see how many we've got. We've already got 3 in there. Patrick, are you going to be Patrick in Discord, or are you the other name that I see using the same icon? I see you. So yeah, just hang out up in there if you're going to play CQC, guys, so we can get a head count. And we'll come up there and join you. Punchy McTaint, nice. Thanks for joining, buddy. Oh, Billup, I didn't see you. And yeah, a lot of you guys I didn't see sneak in today. Ava, I've missed you in, well, actually, I haven't missed you in Sidey Slaughter because I haven't been rocked by Rails recently. Although I've started using Rails once I get to the Eagle and above and really enjoying them on those builds.
I love Rails.
I can attest to how much he enjoys those damn railguns.
They were fun today. And so, Punchy, don't sweat it. In a minute, we're going to let me show you. So, essentially, here's how you do CQC. Anywhere you are in the game, you exit the main menu. You can be anywhere in the galaxy. That's the beauty of this. Daryl, well, thanks for hanging with me, buddy. I appreciate it.
Oh,
and for those
that's a good point. For CQC, the reason I got into it, when I first played, you know, as a beginner, the first 300 to about 800 hours, I was all about exploration. So my first elite was exploration, but I did spend a lot of time out in the black and going everywhere. So when you start going crazy and bored, I would hop into CQC.
That's right.
And so CQC gave me the pew fight time that I needed because anybody that knows me here, I like to shoot.
Yep,
I can't go that long doing other activities. It's like eventually I'll shoot the rocks if I have to.
Combat is my favorite thing too. Yep.
I agree with you 100%, man. I mean, when I started this game, I was straight up. I was all about bounty hunting, and then I realized I just wasn't making any damn money, you know.
Yep.
But I've always been completely 100% all about bounty hunting this game. It's great.
Well, you know, a lot of people, you know, one of the strengths and weaknesses of Elite has always been it's 5 different games to 5 different gamers, right? You're an explorer, you're a trader, you're a combat guy, a PvP combat guy, or a PvE combat guy, right? Or you're a miner, or, you know, all of those different disciplines. We all live together in one universe. And if you are the type that, as Apostle was getting at, you're going to live out in the black, or like, for example, this Colonia account, I can't wing up with buddies really unless I make some friends out here. obviously, right? But it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing any combat by myself, or if I'm truly out in the black, there's nowhere to do combat. So being able to get into CQC, and here's how you do it. On the main menu,
Definitely.
you go all the way over to this thing called Arena that you've never clicked on before. You click on Arena.
hey, I clicked on that about 2 or 3 years ago.
Great,
About 2 or
great.
3 years ago.
And so, Pasto, I'm going to tell the guys in War Room to come back down here. Okay, guys, you can come back down to live streaming. We were just getting a head count.
QC is a good alternative to blowing yourself up, and it allows you to go all the way out to Beagle Point.
Yeah, and still do
stay
combat.
and explore things. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and actually, you know what? I just realized I'm in my alt account here, so I have almost no rank in this account because I've barely played CQC in it. But I'll go ahead and play in this because another good thing is the starter Condor is one of the best ships you can have in CQC, and we should talk about the ships real quick. You get the Condor.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
So the Condor is what you would actually.
Yeah, that's what I fly even when I'm almost about to Prestige, right? I've got all the upgrades available. Okay. So you have the Condor, the Imperial Fighter, the Eagle, and the Sidewinder. However, they're all...
I always thought it was the Eagle.
Yeah, they're all slightly different versions of the game versions. And while there are some loadout changes, you'll see these different weapons and different like distributors and armor and things like that. So you can do some changes, not engineering really, but some module changes. It's all very different than the core game. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
you
so
can't
now
target the highest threat.
That's another good one.
You have to visually acquire your target.
Yeah, so you can't do next target, previous target, or threat. You have to literally be looking at the target and then select it that way, right? So you have to really use your scanner. Pasto mentioned this recently. You'll see me do this in a second. Pip management, and I have a tutorial covering pip management, like making sure you're bouncing your pips, and pips are your energy distribution in your distributor from, all from your systems to your weapons to your engines. I'm going to do that every few seconds. You'll see, right? Constantly changing that.
The ships are so much more easy to kill. And the distributors run out so quickly, you have to use pips. You'll be shooting and then, I can't shoot anymore. Well, you didn't put pips in that weapon. Yeah. So you have to do it.
The problem for me.
Yep. So let's get in. So the way we're going to do this when you bring a group of friends is everybody get on Team Deathmatch. So if you're
you're on Team Deathmatch.
Yep. If you're not ready to click Team Deathmatch, please speak up or type up in the general channel. Oh, actually, I'm in staff general. Let me look at the real general. There we go.
Yeah, no, I'm ready, man. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know how to use the mouse and keyboard on this game. So
okay, Ryan, no worries, buddy.
I'm gonna be a clay pigeon for you
guys.
Okay.
That's okay. It's all for fun. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna count it down. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and we're all gonna click. So 3, 2, 1, click.
Talk about clay pigeon. I've been one, and I'm at rank 26.
Okay, that's
Seems
great.
Like I never can get around.
That's great. Again, this is all just that's the other nice thing about CQC. It's all for good fun, right? You're not going to have a rebuy. You're not going to have. It's not going to. In fact, I bitch about this all the time.
You do
I don't
make
understand.
money in it.
You do.
It gives you credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this isn't. I don't understand why this isn't integrated into the mission board. Like why we don't get a mission to go fight in a CQC tournament. I don't get it.
Absolutely. It would be, like when CQC first came out, that was the first thing that baffled me, like it was really hot for, I don't know, maybe a month or two when it first came out. And then they didn't put any effort into it. Everybody was like,
nothing has changed in it.
But
nothing has changed in it since release, basically. Pasto, we've got a match. We've got 5 of us.
Because it was done for the Xbox, yeah.
It's a great concept, but like they really just don't they don't really push it into the game. They don't encourage people to.
There we go. Okay, and you'll notice Aposto's symbol is different. He's got the three little gold things because he's prestiged 3 different times.
Oh yeah.
And in my main account, I think I'm 40.
Yeah, he was supposed to be quad elite by now, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Getting elite in CQC, it's 26,000 kills, Aposto.
Yeah, I was looking at it's actually 19,000 is the lowest one I see now in the Nara, and there's 17 elites. in Inara.
Yeah, think about that, guys. There's 17 total elites in CQC. And so, for
17.
example, you'll see here in the middle, this is one of Apostle. Let me get it if you don't mind, just so I can show them. I won't shoot you with it. So this is the weapons or the double damage. So you'll see in my bottom right where it now says weapons, and so literally my weapons are twice as damaging. Stealth mode. Let me go get that one.
Hey, Xeges, do you by chance know the keyboard commands?
No, I don't at all.
Yeah,
I only play Hodis. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Who uses keyboard on this game?
We've got some guys. A lot of the high-end PvPers
a lot of
do.
people.
Really?
The defaults are different for everybody, though, too.
I find it so difficult.
Oh, I completely agree.
It's so hard.
So now we've got stealth, and you guys can see in the bottom right as they're counting down. I'm just going to go around and get the different power-ups. Speed surge, watch how quickly this lasts, how short. But what I like is you go through it and slam it in reverse, and watch this. How quickly I go in reverse, and it's already gone. It literally lasts that short. And then the fourth one, I thought it was on that side, it's down here, is shield. And there's shield boost. And you'll see that my shields get a funky little ring on them, and they double in strength. And again, that one can wear off, but it takes a while. There's a scoreboard, so you can see the scoreboard here. Pasto's the only one that's gotten a kill so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to fly around.
Oh, don't sweat it, yeah.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how to manage my pips right now. I'm not sure what the keys are.
Oh, that wasn't very smooth. That wasn't very smooth either. So now, and again, I can't next or previous target somebody. I can see my team.
Pinball.
That's it. Go get the shield boost again while I'm here.
You also have to pay attention to your distance to your target.
And I can't target him right now because he's got silent running or stealth. There we go. There is, depending on your loadout, you have chaff, and I just fired my chaff. And Apostle just fired his, so I can untarget him and try to keep hitting him fixed. And get a kill on Aposto. And again, I'm trying to be super active with my pips. You want to try to save your chaff until late, until kind of like, not right when you're going to die, but pretty late. As Apostle mentioned, there's some tunnels. You see these things in here? You can blow these things up.
X, are you using your pip macros right now? Or are you
I am,
just
absolutely. I'm using my pip macros. Yep. Big fan of using pip macros. Because I play on stick and my normal is at my right thumb. So trying to change those really quickly, the way my setup is, just does not happen.
Oh yeah. Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
And
I've never
unfortunately,
really used a macro for
I've got one of my binds is that one, which is also showing me the scoreboard. So if you guys see the scoreboard pop up real quick, that's why. And of course, Aposto killed me. Yeah, and as Haxt said on Twitch or on YouTube, it's the arrow keys. Up, down is reset, up is engines, left is systems, and right is weapons.
Wow, that's actually really hard to use when you're. I mean, because it takes the mouse to actually control the ship, and then you have to go from WASD to the arrow keys.
And again, guys, I say this all the time, but 4 pips in systems makes your shields 2.6 times stronger than no pips.
I'm still trying to figure out how to lock on to somebody. I'm following people, but I don't know how to lock onto them still. Crazy. What'd you say?
Press T.
T. Got you. Target. That makes sense. Okay. That's fair.
And you'll see I'm a toggler, so I'll toggle FA off right as I do my turn, toggle it back on when I'm ready to line up for my shot. Switching my pips back over to weapons, now back to engines, back to weapons, shields, back to engines so I can boost turn. FA back on, back energy over to weapons. Kill. Now I'm going to go look for the cheese, as we call it. Where is it? It's there. Oh, and somebody has the cheese, probably a Pasto. That's probably him right there, because I'm like getting wrecked pretty quickly. And so using the structure to hide through is... And I'm dead already. Yeah, you had double damage. Pasto.
I didn't want to kill you. I wanted you to go through the tunnel so I could chase you down the tunnel.
Yeah. I tell you what, Pasto, let me find you. I won't shoot you. Let's show them going through a tunnel and then flipping as you come out of it.
When he shows up, just shoot him anyway, Pasto.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against
But what I want to test is synthesizing premium ammo.
Yeah.
I'm looking for you.
Surprised you're doing CQC. There's no premium in CQC.
No. You're in the middle?
Yeah.
Are you where the double damage is?
Yeah, I'm just flying through it, doing backflips through the entrance and...
Okay, hold on. I'm coming in that tunnel right now. Hold on.
Just crashed.
Oh, thud. Jesus. Flying like shit right now. There you are. There you are. So let me chase you, Aposto, and then show him a flip around. So go back in the tunnel. Where'd you go?
Oh, you're gonna get the double damage first?
Of course I am.
Okie dokie.
Are you in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Okay, hold tight. I don't see you. Okay, there you are.
Right here.
We'll get back down in here.
Yeah. Line up so I can shoot you.
Well, I'm not going to shoot you. I want to show you you shooting me.
Yeah, look, I'm going to turn around now. Come at me.
Man. So Exegius, you said you actually you stand behind the Condor more than the Eagle though, huh?
Yeah, the Eagle is big, fat, and slow. It's got great shields.
Yeah, see, I always thought it was like the Eagle had great mobility, and that's why.
So you'll see Aposto just past me, and now either of us can flip around, wait for the other to come out of the tunnel, be reverse, and you're back at it, right? So you can do maneuvers like that, which are fun. Range, there is damage fall off, just like there is in game. So yeah, I'm chasing you through the tunnel. Go, Pasto.
Well, yeah, it's like
if you're gonna hit the tunnel.
What is it, about 1,500 kilometers or so?
It's like 1,000 is where the really is. In game, it's 1,500, depending on the weapon.
Okay.
Lasers start to fall off at 500. I think it's 500.
I think you're right.
Yeah, lasers fall off really, really quick. I remember that.
So using the tunnels like this is just huge fun. When you play Capture the Flag, trying to stay in the tunnels and use them as
you can also take cover here too, like you can use these structures.
Exactly.
I don't know if you were chasing me or not.
I'm kind of running from you because you almost had me.
Oh, I was barely shooting you.
Well, I've slammed into the damn structure so many times.
I just did the exact same thing. I was just chasing this guy.
And again, see, I love with Speed Surge. You go through it, you slam it in reverse, and if somebody's chasing you, you're right on top of them again. This isn't one of the particularly pretty maps. It was kind of cool because of the red nebula, but... And see, another thing is you watch another player, you're like, okay, he's almost dead, right?
Oh yeah, you also get points for assist, so shoot everybody.
Yeah.
Shoot everything. It's a fun thing. It's like craziness.
I'm going to turn the game audio up just a little bit.
Well, I've actually noticed, targeting people in CQC is actually...
Yeah, you have to visually target somebody in front of you. You cannot say next target, previous target, or dangerous target.
Absolutely.
And so, like, right now, you guys will see, like, this Eagle has much stronger shields than... And the Sidewinder's the same way.
Yeah, Sidewinder in CQC feels like Anaconda in the main game.
Yeah, it's so tanky.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a big ship.
You get the death replay. Yep, Andy, we're playing CQC. If you're up for joining us, man. Andy's on stream asking, come join us.
Andy Polaris?
No.
Oh.
You kidding me? Andy Polaris have a fair fight?
No, yeah, definitely not.
Jesus. I'm just banging all over everything. This is horrible.
Oh man.
Oh my god,
yeah,
I can't see where the hell I am.
I got shot once. I mean, somebody pretty much just like picked me off after.
What the fuck is wrong with me all of a sudden? It's like I'm drunk.
Hey man, I mean, then we're in the same boat because I'm just sitting here, pretty much just floating around space, trying to figure out mouse and keyboard over here. I'm with you.
Okay,
it's like we're drunk. Sick died. I am.
God,
like,
that was horrible.
Man. Wow, that voice delay on your stream, that's probably a solid minute and a half.
Oh, usually it's like 8 seconds or 2 seconds.
Insane.
And
No,
so
dude,
Apostle
I'm hearing
just got stealth,
over
so
me.
he's gonna go silent. If you refresh, I bet it'll.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, I'm probably just like.
And I just lost weapons, so you want to try to capitalize while you have weapons. Cannons, there's a rapid fire cannon. That's a pretty good weapon to use because it takes very little distro draw. Apostle just got the cheese, I bet. Didn't you? Oh, and somebody has the shield. In Capture the Flag, when you pick up the flag, you slow down so other people can, you know, are easier to catch you. Oh, I'm going to hit that. That was stupid. Boy, I am just flying like my normal shit. Lego, why don't you come join us?
I'm making some dinner now, and then I can, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get him before he gets the stealth. Nope. So again, those watching, you can see how often I'm changing my pips. You can at least hear it.
I don't get how anybody can play this game with mouse and keyboard. Seriously.
Oh, some of the, I mean,
difficult.
Lego can attest, some of the best play mouse and keyboard. You can be a lot more accurate with things like railguns.
I'm
Yeah,
playing mouse and keyboard just to practice.
Yeah, I'm having. I really am. I mean, I can fly now.
Off of nice cannons.
I'm not doing very well at all. I'm straight up just like somebody to shoot at. Right
This
now.
is a great place to learn FA off. You guys can see I'm a toggler completely, so I'm toggling a lot for FA off. But it's just a great place to experiment with stuff because there's no. It's like when we play Sidewinder Slaughter, right? There's no consequences. Gotta use your scanner a lot. Chaff only works for a very short time, as you see. Also, remember when you put full pips in engines and you go to half throttle, you get a much faster turn rate. So you'll see me when I'm trying to dogfight with somebody up close, I'm going back to 50% throttle. So you don't want to just keep it floored the whole time. We play matches to 25 or the time limit. like this.
Yeah, Exegius, one of the tactics that I picked up while I was doing bounty hunting and stuff was actually flying in reverse. What do you think about that?
It depends. If you're doing reverse ski in a fight to win a fight, I think it's lame as fuck. And it's really easy to, in a PvP fight, because it's really easy to counter.
If it's against another player.
Yeah, if it's against another player, no, I'm not a fan, because again, all I have to do to counter it is not chase you. But then it's no fun for either of us, because now you just fly backwards and I sit still and we don't even instance anymur.
Pre-turn and then sit on his ass. Easy.
Usually what happens when I fly backwards is like I'll be tailing me and stuff, so I'll be actually like my tail actually turns to my face, so I can fly away from them and fly a bunch of tactics around them and shit like that, but I can still also
using it
while they're tailing me.
Yeah, and if you're using it against, for bounty hunting and things like that, sure.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
against somebody who knows what they're doing, you're just gonna look like an idiot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it doesn't build any skill. That's my
true.
other complaint with it.
That's absolutely true. I play games like War Thunder and stuff too, so I'm all about tactical dogfighting and stuff.
Well, and Lego here, who just joined us, is I'll brag on him a bit, is one of the best FTL pilots in the game.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Nice.
He's a keyboard and stick pilot.
Keyboard and stick. Nice. I've been looking into getting like a good joystick or something for this game.
If you're just going to do a stick, the T16000 that Lego uses is a very good choice. If you're going to go through, I actually have a video that covers all the different throttles, HOTAS setups.
Really? I haven't seen that video. I didn't know you actually addressed that.
Yep. I use the Warthog. It covers everything from the Warthog to the T-Flight X, which is the cheap $50 one. And kind of the cool thing is none of them are shit.
Yeah. No, that's actually the thing. It's like, but the whole problem with I think joysticks and stuff in the long run is more the wear and tear. After you sit there and you rock on that joystick for a solid month or so.
I'm on my second Warthog. Yeah, I'm on my second Warthog. My first one lasted 4,000 hours. And the only issue with it was a couple of the switches were just starting to get a little flaky and weren't consistent anymore. And so I replaced it because of that. But yeah, I mean, my second one's got, 2,500 hours on it and not a single issue with it.
Wow. Okay. That's great to know.
Now it's the negative with the Warthog is it's a, roughly $500 stick and throttle, and it doesn't have twist, so you have to use pedals with it, which to me is not a negative. I like using pedals, but for some that's a negative.
It's almost a plus. It's better to keep those other settings and controls.
Well, I like the immersion of using pedals.
Okay, who took the shield amplifier? Who took it?
Pasta, did you see that it winged us up? I think for the first time in a long time, you and I have been on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have budget for the Warthog like you have, so I picked up the X56.
That's another
generally
really great
impressed with it.
Yep. I didn't love I like the 52 better personally from an ergonomic standpoint, but that's highly subjective.
If you don't have monster hands like this, you feel like a small child trying to jump into an aircraft. It's like, oh yeah, look what I can do with the fighter museum, blah blah blah.
Well, the nice thing about the 56 is it's got a lot more hats and controls than the 52 does, right? So you've got a lot more options in terms of inputs and choices and stuff, right? And yeah, by the way, just real quick, random uploader asked, this is my favorite map. So this is the, I'm just going to fly it around and show it to folks. This is, can you use the external? You can't use the external camera. This is the space elevator map. Now, I'll go ahead and show you. If you fly too far away, you'll get out of bounds and get blown up. And let me see how far down you can go. Yeah, here we go. So I'm out of it. It's going to give me 20 seconds. Can I make it down to that other installation down there?
I think I'm starting to get a feel
Oh, no.
for this whole mouse and keyboard thing.
Killed myself. There you go, Fang.
Hey, too much killing yourself and you go blind. Yeah, and I really wish this installation or this site was in the game, right? Because it's such a cool looking site.
It really is. You know, I mean, that would actually be really cool if they had like iconic sites kind of scattered around.
I mean, I get that they want, you know, like specific CQC maps to encourage CQC play. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, are they really trying to encourage it though? Because I mean, just what we were talking about earlier, really, I mean, like they really haven't advertised CQC at all since they introduced it. You know, I mean, that's really my only gripe about DQC is the fact that they just kind of like they introduced it and they didn't really give anybody any reason to really want to play it.
It's PvP content, and FDev hates PvP.
Pretty much.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, FDev hates Elite Dangerous, but they
certainly hate us. As I've said many times,
they do not like you, buddy.
We love Elite in spite of Frontier, not because of
in
Frontier.
Spite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're a fucking dumpster fire of a company.
Great game, bad people.
Hope they're watching.
Yeah. I hope you are. Yeah, I really do hope they are watching.
Yeah,
I'm not even lying.
I am certainly not their favorite.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I believe it. So between you and what's the name of that other
Yamix.
He's a really good streamer. Astronomy.
Oh, Down to Earth Astronomy.
Down to Earth. There you go. He's really cool. I like him. He's got a lot of great information.
We differ pretty fundamentally in how we play the game. I'll just put
You
it
do.
that
He
way.
does
You
not
definitely
have
do.
good information. I'm sorry.
You don't like
him?
him?
I wouldn't go quite that far, but
He does
So
not have good information.
without actually like knocking
shit,
on him,
I'm out of bounds.
I mean, like,
I'm out of
what do you
bounds.
feel? What do you feel is like? What do you think he's lacking on or something?
And
Well,
let's
he tries
guys.
a lot of stuff that,
No,
like,
no. Let's take that off
Okay.
stream.
Oh,
Okay,
don't talk
Let-
shit.
no,
Don't
no,
talk
no,
shit.
we're not gonna-
I'll DM you,
Yeah,
buddy.
we're not talking
We
shit
won't-
about
yeah,
anybody
we
on
won't,
this
we won't.
stream.
Yeah,
No.
Fucking
Down to Astronomy's a great guy.
Yamix just the worst.
Yamix we can talk
That's
shit
fair,
about
though.
all day long, right?
Fucking Yamix.
Yamix, yeah, Yamix is funny as fuck, dude. I love that guy.
But yeah,
I
Like,
want
like,
the squeaky
I'm not gonna
noise
lie.
sound to happen every time I bounce off of something in the game. Like I've already
Yamix
got
is great,
Alex, the absolutely most disdainful Kovacs. It's like is listening through. It's like, oh, I'll spend a couple arcs on that because it's like you get in like first thing in the morning and she comes on. It's just like, really, you're back for this nonsense?
Right.
Why?
But yeah, no, I don't want to sit here and shit on any YouTuber. It's a lot of work to do this stuff for
I totally agree with you,
pennies
man.
per
I'm
hour.
not trying to, like,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
It's I'm
I
really
don't want to
shutting
defame
Lego up.
anybody or.
I'm really shutting Lego up.
That was a good call, man. That was a good call. I mean, I was just curious, but
I mean, there's certainly
that's fair.
differing opinions on the way to do things in the game, right? He and I disagree on certain things about how to play the game and what to do in game, and right.
His last
perfectly
mining
fine.
guide is great though.
It was. No, he's been doing a really great job of trying to explain how to actually work around this whole new economy thing with the specifically the
He
mining.
works with his community well, and you know, I wish him all the best. I've watched his videos.
I agree. I mean, I like you both. You know, like you both have like great content that I really learned a lot from.
We both do a similar thing. We just have different approaches to how we do it.
Absolutely. I mean, and just like Yamix, you know, I mean, you can learn from Yamix, but I mean, he's just like, it's same time.
You can learn some things from Yamix. I'll give Yamix shit all day because if Yamix was here, I'd give Yamix the same shit to his face.
Yeah,
as Yamix would give me.
I mean, you would expect it though, you know, because like I mean, that's what he does.
Right. And Yamix doesn't claim to be a tutorial maker by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't know. You've been watching his content lately?
Yeah, but still, I don't think he would call
talking
it.
shit about engineering, dude. I don't
sure.
think you've been watching.
But I still wouldn't call his content tutorial based.
Oh, it is. It's straight up tutorials. He's telling you which he is. You gotta watch it.
I think the last video he made was actually another one that was kind of like a rating the tiers of
yeah, best to worst is best to worst.
Yeah,
series.
best
Go
to
watch
worst.
those.
Yeah, those are
Pretty
great.
funny.
Those are funny
Every
shit.
time I watch Yamix, I'm reminded of Arduino versus Evil, also known as everybody's Kanucky Stanny Uncle Bumblefuck. If you've ever seen him on YouTube.
No, not
I
at
don't think
all.
I've ever heard of that.
Some good info, but interspersed with just absolute ridiculousness, and you just end up laughing as you watch the video.
He's talking about AVE, if you guys know him. He's pretty cool.
But I mean, when it comes to like straight up information, when I'm trying to like learn something, I'm not gonna lie, Exegius, man, you are straight up the best YouTuber.
Yeah, X knows what he's talking about. When
it comes down to straight up information, and you go like straight to the point. Like you don't
always
sit there
been
and
my
talk
goal.
about it
Yeah.
for half an hour.
My goal has always been that I want you to watch less and play more, right? Like,
Exactly.
look, nobody wants to listen to me talk about a fucking video game. You want to go play the game. So I just want to give you as much as I can, as quickly as I possibly can, so that you can go back and play.
And that's actually, it's really respectable. It's respectable, man. You know, and honestly, I appreciate it a lot because, you know, I know there's a talent there to like try to simplify something, just kind of wrap everything into a nice, neat little package. When you're talking about a game as complicated as Elite Dangerous, where I'm pretty sure maybe 20% of the people who have ever bought the game probably
That
just
was
gave
kind of
up
one-sided, wasn't it?
trying to learn it.
Well, we shouldn't have
It was a
killed
little
anybody.
one-sided.
I should have just started taking people till their shields were off and stopped.
You guys are a little pet.
And I'm going to end with one question, especially since it's for a member. Thank you very much for your membership, San. So Federation rank, as kind of was asked by a random uploader. So I don't remember what level of Federation rank. If you hit me up in Discord, I can give you a little more detail. And by the way, guys, I'm going to back out of CQC. I might continue to play, but I'm going to end the stream here in a second. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just deafen you guys and say goodnight to the stream. Essentially what you're going to do, San, is you're going to earn Federation rank until, and hold on a second, I will look it up for you. Elite Dangerous Federation rank. You're going to go to Petty Officer right here to get the soul permit. So I just put out a video days ago that I'll even find the video about it for you. That is Federal and Imperial rank. So right there, my friend. So that video will show you the quickest ways to get Federation and Imperial rank. Go through that until you get to Petty Officer. That will unlock the soul permit, and there you go. So that's how you do it, buddy. So again, thanks to everybody for joining, especially those that, is there anybody here that's literally been here since 6 p.m. Eastern when I was supposed to start and got the time wrong? You're most welcome, Sam, and thank you very much for your support, buddy. Yeah, is there anybody that's been here, you know, literally that long since when I started? Because I was supposed to, I'm typoed when I put in the time for the start and put in 1800 instead of 2000 hours. So I forgive. So my apologies to if there was anybody here that was there that long. Thanks again for everybody joining. Next stream will be this Friday, Crimson Gamer at 1 o'clock Eastern, which is now 5 o'clock UTC. So I hope you guys can come back. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet other than chit chat about the game, creating content. We'll ride his Vomit Comet, his Adder build, and just have some fun. Otherwise, thanks everybody for joining, and I'll see you guys soon. And remember to fly dangerously. See you guys.